All right, good afternoon. I'd like to call this meeting in order at 2:07 p.m. Clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaplan. Here. Councilmember Dickinson. Here. Councilmember Pluckybaum will join us momentarily. Councilmember Maple.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Here.
Councilmember Jennings.
Here.
Councilmember Vang.
Here.
Vice Mayor Talamantes.
Here.
And Mayor McCarty.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Wonderful. Councilmember Maple, will you please lead us in the land acknowledgement and pledge of allegiance?
Please rise if you are able. Please rise for the opening acknowledgments in honor of Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal lands. To the original people of this land, the Nisenan people, the Southern Maidu, Valley and Plains Miwok, Putwan Wintu peoples, and the people of the Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribe. May we acknowledge and honor the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us today on these ancestral lands by choosing to gather today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's indigenous people's history, contributions, and lives. Remain standing, salute, and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Council Member. So I see we have a packed audience. I'm assuming it will clear out after two special presentations that we have today. And then we will continue to conduct business for the rest of the afternoon. So we are taking, a special presentation honoring Miss Lachelle Dozier from the Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment Agency today, who is retiring. And I'm going to pass the baton to our senior member and somebody that has known Lachelle for quite some time, Councilmember Jennings and Mai Vang, to read the resolution.
That sounds great. Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. Today we get the honor of honoring an extraordinary leader whose tireless work has really transformed housing and strengthened families and communities in our community. Lachelle, I've known you since I was a staffer for the former Councilmember Larry Carr, and you have always centered racial equity in everything that you do. Thank you for your vision and your unshakable leadership. I know that there are so many families that are resting that has a home now because of you, and so your leadership will be missed. I have the opportunity of the request from Vice Mayor Talamantes to read the first few whereases, and then I'm going to hand it over to Coach to say a few words. Whereas Lachelle Dozier has dedicated more than 2 decades to the Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment Agency, joining in 2002 and becoming Executive Director in 2009. And whereas Executive Director Ms. Dozier managed over $300 million budget and oversaw the Joint Powers Authority structure that brought together housing functions for both the city and the county of Sacramento. Whereas Ms. Dozier expanded affordable housing opportunities, preserved the housing stock, revitalized neighborhoods, and created programs that improved the lives of thousands of residents.
Whereas one of the key components of her accomplishments is the $330 million Mirasol Village development, which replaced the Twin Rivers public housing community with 427 new homes, an early childhood education center, a city park, future light rail station, strengthening the River City District, one of your greatest accomplishments. Give her a round of applause, please. Whereas during the COVID-19 pandemic, Ms. Dozier helped SHRA quickly adapt operations, implement safety measures, and launch rental assistance programs, which brought more than $200 million in federal funds to keep over 16,000 families in their homes. Yeah, you can. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Those are some powerful numbers, so you should applaud for that. Ms. Dozier also guided SHRA through the end of the redevelopment in 2012, maintaining services despite major funding and staff reductions. Whereas Ms. Dozier has credited her staff of more than 230 employees for their dedication, while she remained committed to the belief that safe, stable, affordable housing is a basic right for all residents to have. Whereas Ms. Dozier will retire after 23 years of service at Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment Agency, leaving behind a record of leadership and, we all know, community impact. Therefore, let it be resolved by the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Sacramento, we honor and commend LaShelle Dozier for her years of service and contributions to housing and community development, and extends its gratitude on behalf of all the residents of Sacramento, those that she helped and those that she will help in the future. Congratulations.
LaShelle, we're going to have you hold for a second because we have a few members, including a mayor, SHRA, former commissioner, that are punched up to speak. But I'm going to hand it off to Councilmember Maple, then Councilmember Dickinson, and then the mayor.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. While I have not known you as long as Councilmember Jennings or Councilmember Vang, I've had the opportunity to work with you now over the last few years, and it's been an absolute joy. I think one of the things that struck me the most is that you're a true problem solver. Your first answer is yes and not no. It's how do we figure out how to fix something? And as Councilmember Vang mentioned, you're always centering those who need it the most and those who don't always have a voice in the process and making sure that they are heard. And that's been very apparent to me. I don't think this was mentioned in the resolution, but I think it's something important to point out. One of your other great accomplishments, as I've seen it, is the former G Parkway that is now in my district, formerly in District 8. That was a community that needed a lot of help. And it was through your vision of trying something new, trying something that hadn't been done before, and really pushing it through and making it happen, that has completely changed that community. And I think it's important to point this out because it's not just numbers. It's not just, hey, look at this project that got done. This is real people's lives. You go there and you talk to people, and their lives have improved greatly, and we can say that's because of you. And so I just want to thank you for your decades of service to Sacramento. I know you're not going away. You're still going to be here, hopefully, to be called upon by all of us when I've got 1,000 questions, because nobody knows it better than you. So thank you.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Well, LaShelle, we've been through a few of the battles together, haven't we? One of my fond memories, many fond memories, is actually serving on the Redevelopment Commission, Housing and Redevelopment Commission, for about a year. And, well, I won't say the year, but a little while ago. But you know what really sticks with me over those years has been the joint redevelopment area. There were a lot of affordable housing projects in North Sacramento and elsewhere that were challenging in many respects, but you stuck with them and got them done. But the joint redevelopment areas we had called for a level of diplomacy between the council and the Board of Supervisors at the time to keep them on track, to keep them working, to keep the redevelopment area advisory committees, if not satisfied, at least engaged, and the amount of good work that came out because of that combination, that rare alliance for this county, which is not duplicated, as you well know, in a lot of other counties around the state over the years, and whether it was Oak Park or Stockton Boulevard or Auburn Boulevard, any of those where you had to navigate keeping what the county's interests were aligned with what the city's interests were, I think showed the real level of expertise and accomplishment that you can always be very proud of. And of course, for me personally, in addition to that, was the transition and reuse of McClellan, and the time we spent With that, one of my chief of staff at the time said, when asked what our office did, was we were all McClellan all the time. And for a lot of us, it was all McClellan all the time for a number of years. I think, again, you can take great pride in the fact that McClellan is now held up as a national example of a successful base reuse and transition. That's due in no small part to what you contributed to that and the SHRA staff, along with lots of others who made great contributions, but it couldn't have been done without you and the agency. So I know for me, when I think of you, I will always think of all that great work that we were able to accomplish. I'd like to say together, but mostly by you, and that is something I hope you will always take great pride in. Thank you for everything you've done for our community.
And next up, we have our very own mayor. Oh, okay. Councilmember James?
Okay, great. I want to just stop for a second and speak to what I spoke to in introducing the resolution, but also I want to speak to what comes from my heart. I got it, at least. I just want to say thank you for your bravery and your courage through a lot of tough times, through putting everybody else first and making sure that their needs were met, even when your needs may not have been met. I want to thank you for your excellent service over the last 23 years and for persevering over so many tough times, for sacrificing your family and yourself just to serve your city, and for not giving up even when you could have. And because you were always going to be committed to doing the right thing for the city of Sacramento and for the people of Sacramento. So we want to give you your flowers today and salute you for all that you've done, and thank you for 23 years of service before a lifetime of friendship. Thank you.
And I'll go first, and then I'll let the mayor finish it off. Lachelle, I, like Councilmember Vang, met you when I was the chief of staff to our now Senator Angelique Ashby. And at that time, we formed Vista Nueva, and we looked for sites and looked for places, and we worked together a lot. And you were always her first phone call away. And Christine was mine. Christine's sitting behind you. But then I got a promotion to being council member and vice mayor. Then my chief of staff took my role, and I got to call you directly. And I was like, ooh, I got to call Lachelle. And still call Christine, both of you guys. But you're always my first call on everything housing. When I feel like my community is not getting its end of the bargain on a housing development project, or something's going on, anything housing related that's above my pay grade and above my knowledge, I call you, because you are just so well respected and loved across the country. I remember Angelique telling me about going to conferences with you in Washington, D.C., and how everyone was coming up to you saying, Ms. Dozier, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? And I still remember that, just fondly, okay, that's the person. Lachelle Dozier is the housing person. And when I started my job, I had a briefing with you and your entire team at SHRA, and I hung out there for like 4 hours and said, help me understand the difference between vouchers, between this. And you guys were all so patient with me, and so just happy to share your own knowledge and expertise and wisdom, the wisdom that comes with years of being in the service of government. And for that, I'm just so grateful and so honored to, call you a friend, to call you a resource, to call you a mentor, to call you someone that I can just pick up the phone and call. And just thank you for everything that you've done for the city, for the people, and looking forward to your retirement and hearing what you do. If you have a yard sale for your jewelry, please let me know. She always has the nicest necklaces. I love fashion. I always joke with you, and that's what makes this job fun, is to be able to serve with people alongside you that have a heart for public service. So thank you so much. I don't know if you want to recognize your family maybe after, during your council, or during your comments. I'm going to pass the baton to SHRA Commissioner and Mayor Kevin McCarty.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, and as Councilmember Dickinson noted, both of us are here today serving on the City Council, but started as SHRA commissioners, and I think you started that same year when I was there in 2000 to 2004. And just reflecting on all the people that are served, I know most people who have benefited from SHRA, they probably don't know the names of the individuals. They probably don't know the executive director's name, but those programs and the 200 plus people that you currently, how many staff do you have right now? More than?
Over 230.
Over 200. So 200, but probably hundreds over the years who have worked under you have changed lives, and that's why you're in this job. I know you appreciate the recognition today. We're all here, your family's here, we're recognizing you, but SHRA, as Roger and I note, have changed hundreds of lives and have helped people get up into other places in their life. Unfortunately, some families are stuck in intergenerational poverty today, and we see them, and it breaks our heart. But there are countless success stories, and you know, SHRA has changed over the years. We've had different presidents, different governors, of course, different mayors, supervisors, and the policies have changed. We've had recessions, lost money, got money, had opportunities. Redevelopment, as you noted, council member, used to be a big piece of the effort that you work on, but at the end of the day, it's about, you know, helping people who are in need, who need housing, but also, you know, tools. You're not just give. I always appreciated SHRA and the programs that we offer, especially at our public housing, like the biblical saying, not just giving somebody a fish to eat for the day, but giving somebody a fishing pole so they can eat for life. And so the people that are still there, those 200 people, worked under your leadership, and that legacy continues no matter what. And governors, presidents, mayors, supervisors come and go, but the work will continue in some capacity. So you certainly are a part of that, and 2 decades of public service. I'm glad you left being an analyst with, I think, the California Teacher Credentialing Commission. Is that what it was? No, I'm sorry.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you. Where did you come from? You come from a state agency.
I came from Sacramento Air Quality Management.
Air Quality Management District. Okay, yes. Very different policy area, but thank you for choosing this passionate and different career for 2 decades serving the people, the city of Sacramento, and just a heartfelt thank you for your service for Sacramento. Thank you.
So it's my turn. Okay. So many times I've seen people who were at this podium and you were recognizing them for their retirement. I was like, oh, thank God, I hope it'll be me one day. And now it's that day, and I don't feel that same way because I realize how many people that I've worked with and had such a joy to do all of those wonderful things that you talked about. So, good afternoon, Mayor, council members, my family and friends. I'm deeply, deeply touched by this resolution. It is such a meaningful way for me to close out this chapter of my career. I'm both honored and humbled to be with you today. Serving the city of Sacramento through SHRA over the past 23 years has truly been the privilege of my career and my life. I have always believed that housing is the foundation for everything. It is where stability begins. It is where families can grow. It is where opportunities take root. Over the years, I've had the chance to work with an extraordinary team who share this very same belief. Together, we've not only built and preserved housing, but we've created dignity, stability, and opportunity for thousands of residents across Sacramento. This work is never about one person. It's always about collaboration with city leaders, community partners, private developers, and most importantly, the residents themselves. Through these partnerships, we created not only affordable housing, but stronger neighborhoods, communities that are high quality, sustainable, and welcoming places for families to thrive. I'm so proud of what we've accomplished together, and I know the impact will last for years to come. I want to thank the City Council for your vision and your commitment, not just to affordable housing, but to bold action that has empowered SHRA to transform neighborhoods into safe places to live. Places with the supports that seniors, families, and people with disabilities need to truly thrive. And to my staff, thank you so much. I could not stand here and do the things that I do without these dedicated people who show up every day. I know your work is hard, and I know you take a lot of hits all the time, but you face that challenge every day. And no matter how difficult it gets, you keep showing up. And you always deliver. You always deliver for our residents. Your passion, creativity, and tireless dedication inspire me every single day. I also want to thank my friends who are always there. Because there's somebody you call when you've had a bad council day. And you vent to the sister circle about what happened to you at the podium. And they support me, and I love you guys, and you guys have just held me down. But I want to thank my family, because none of this journey would have been possible without their love and support, and especially my mother. Yes, you can go back and sit down. She said, these shoes look comfortable when I put them on. But my mother, she taught me the value of hard work, showed me through her own life what it means to serve others. Her commitment to helping those in need has been the guide throughout my career. I love you, Mom. As I prepare to retire, I leave with pride in what we have built, and I hope for what is yet to come. Sacramento is strong. Our housing community is strong, and I know the work will continue with passion and purpose, and I thank you for this incredible honor and allowing me to serve the city that I love. Thank you.
One, two, three.
Family, you want to come up? Like to join? I think they're doing stuff next. I'm just doing family right now.
Oh, no. Okay. Well. 1,
2, 3. No, too many photos. Okay. No, it's a telephone. Oh, I didn't know that. I'll pause between this and those two minutes. No, they didn't. No, hold on. No, it was 2 minutes.
I didn't know. I didn't. Well, I mean, it depends. I do like things, but.
Come on, staff.
All right. Yeah, if we can just.
You guys come over here. Kevin, Eric,
Are you
Rosa,
done?
I'll stand with you.
Staff. Make this work? Oh my gosh. This is going to be the attorney photo, too.
Literally. I know there's a lot of people. That's why the room is so packed.
We need to come in a little
Yeah,
tighter on the
squeeze,
ends.
squeeze. There's just no time for hellos.
Gotta come in real tight.
Oh, Liz, do you have this?
What was that?
Will you add us in your clock post?
Let me talk to the vice mayor.
We have 3 reservations today, so I'll probably have to stagger or do something because we're 3 of 3 reservations.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Of course.
Sorry.
All right, so next up, we have Miss Susanna Alcala-Wood. Please make your way to the podium.
I paid them all to be here.
So today, we honor Susanna Alcala-Wood, a trailblazing leader and dedicated public servant, for her outstanding service as Sacramento City's attorney since 2018. The daughter of Mexican immigrants and the first in her family to graduate from college and law school, Susanna brought with her not just decades of legal expertise, but also a deep personal commitment to fairness, equity, and justice, values that have defined her work here in Sacramento. For over nearly 8 years, Susanna has provided us with sound legal advice to this council, to the city manager, and to all city departments, navigating complex legal landscapes with integrity, clarity, and compassion and fierceness. She led us during some of the most challenging times, from the uncertainty of the COVID-19 pandemic to periods of social unrest, ensuring that the city stayed grounded in law while responding with heart and wisdom to the needs of our community. Susanna has been a mentor, a role model, and a fierce advocate for equity in the legal profession. She leaves behind a legacy defined by professionalism, leadership, and unwavering public service. On behalf of the Sacramento City Council and the people of Sacramento, we thank you, Susanna Alcala-Wood, for your dedication to our community. And congratulations, because you're moving on to San Jose to continue, not retiring like Ms. Dozier, but continuing your service. And Susanna, I'm so thankful for you and all that you've done, and honestly, just being a trailblazer for all Latinas, especially in the profession of law, where there's not a lot of representation. And for me, seeing you here on this dais for the years that I've served here at the City of Sacramento has been mesmerizing, and you truly are a role model for many of us. Thank you. Next up, we have Councilmember Vang, then Councilmember Maple, then Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Talamontes. Thank you for your beautiful words, and thank you for bringing this resolution to the full council to consider. In the spirit of Latino Heritage Month, I think this resolution is so timing. I want to join the echo of Vice Mayor to really say, to honor you and to say thank you for being an extraordinary trailblazer, a Latina woman who has dedicated her entire life to community with over 27 years in the legal field. I know that you've paved the way for so many young folks who are interested in the field of law, and so I really just want to take this moment to say thank you for your fight, your dedication to this community. Your work has not only broke barriers, but it's also created opportunities for the next generation of women, especially young Latinas who see themselves in position of power, influence, and justice. So thank you so much just for leading with courage, compassion, and integrity in the city. Your service reminds us that representation does matter and that when women rise, we all rise. So thank you so much for your service, and we'll miss you. We'll miss you, but San Jose is not too far from here. And just thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. And I just want to say, again, we've had the last few years to get to know one another, and I can't say it better than it's already been said about your work, the legacy that you're leaving behind. But there's a couple things I also wanted to note. You're not just leaving behind a legacy and all of the work that you've done, but you're leaving behind an incredible team that you've built up. And I think that's something really important to note here, because there's not many departments, not just in the city of Sacramento, but I don't know, look around at any other jurisdiction where someone can say that they've had that many people that stay for that long, and that many of these people are here supporting you today. You have people who have been in the department for decades. That's a testament to you and your leadership, that you are bringing up people behind you, that you're making sure that they're supported and that hopefully they want to stay and not go to San Jose. But I think that speaks to your leadership. It's a hard thing to do. Leadership is hard, and you've shown that time and time again. The other thing I wanted to say is, there's tropes about attorneys about being, boring, or about, there's you've made some of these jokes yourself. But I would say what I appreciate the most is that when you are providing advice or hearing even just us come to you with an issue, that your perspective is always one from the heart. Right? I feel like I'm talking to a real human being, and you're providing your advice from a place of your inner core, and that's felt, and that makes your advice all that much better, because you're not only weighing all of the legal options and everything that's on the table, but you're also weighing what's the right thing to do. And that's always struck me in all of the conversations that we've had, is you have an amazing moral compass. And I think that has done amazing for the city of Sacramento. I know you'll do amazing work moving on in San Jose. I'm going to miss you dearly, but know that I will be riding the Amtrak to see you. Thank you for your years of service.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Yes, and how fitting again on the eve of the start of National Latino Heritage Month that we recognize you. And I think Councilmember Jennings and I were just reminding ourselves we were the only ones left on the council when you first came on the job, and boy, your first week was like on fire. And it was a full day, and it never has stopped since. And I want to first start by saying that. When during that process, I got a call from former city attorney Sam Jackson, and told me without a doubt, if there's a person who cares about not the city government but the city and its people, it is Susan Alcala-Wood, and that is what we needed in our city. Yes, we have a responsibility for the bureaucracy and stewards of the taxpayers, but our job is for the people of our city. And so that has been in your record here. From basic issues of code enforcement and addressing the quality of life issues and giving peace of mind in communities that probably have never had to confront the legal system, to addressing some of the challenges that we've seen at the federal administration and taking away people's rights. You've been at the forefront of that in leading with other cities and other city attorneys across the nation. And to that point, no wonder that cities across the nation have elected you and appointed you as their national leader. And that deserves a big round of applause for all our city attorneys. mean, the bottom line is, when we've done here the Law Day, and you've brought up the issues of law, and what's the purpose of law? What good is it? What good is it if any of us here vote on a piece of law if it cannot be enforced and justice can't be provided to those folks? You've dedicated your life to that, and I'm envious of the city of San Jose for them being able to, look at take advantage of that. But I want to just congratulate you on your years of service, starting off as a staff attorney here in the city of Sacramento and as a career as city attorney. So felicidades, sí se puede, and I appreciate your time of service to the city.
And we have two more speakers. We have Councilmember Jennings, and then Mayor McCarty will finish it off.
Don't make me cry, Councilman.
So what I said to you in private, I can't say in public.
No.
I just wanted to make sure I got the right legal advice before. So let me give you phase two of what I said, what I wanted to say. I saw a saying early this morning as I woke up and thought about what I should say. And it's a saying that says, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. I'm one of those people who you made feel special. I could be a better council member and a better man because of how you made me feel. Your advice, working with you, listening to you, learning more about you and what you stand for, all those things help me to be a better man and a better council member. And I can't thank you enough, because when I feel like that, it's like I can whoop Muhammad Ali if I need to. Right? So I wish you the very best as you go forward. I too am envious of San Jose because they stole my #1 draft pick. But as you've looked at your career and all that you've done, everywhere that you've gone, you've made it better. And so I'm glad that your path took you this way, because you definitely made the city of Sacramento better. I wish you the very best of luck, and I will always be a phone call away or a 90-minute ride away.
Okay.
Either way. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Okay.
And next up, our mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I wanted to close it out by reading just the title, Honoring Susana Alcala Wood for her exemplary service as city attorney for the city of Sacramento. Thank you for serving not just the city council. So certainly you're up here to advise us during council meetings. You're there to make sure all our legal documents are in order. You're there with your team to represent us in the court of law if we're being sued or if we're suing somebody else. But you're also, as Council Member Garris stated, you're the people's lawyer. People don't always remember that. The city attorney, as you take your oath to this job and unto your oath into your profession, you represent the people of Sacramento, the people's attorney. So that's public policy sometimes. So the Justice for Neighbors program, as Council Member stated, make sure we go after nuisance property owners, because we all want to make sure we have good quality of life on our streets and our neighborhoods. So that's something that people don't always see. And so I want to express my admiration for your focus on that and making sure that you have this job well-rounded and represent the entire city of Sacramento. And I know it was always your dream to be a city attorney for the city attorney. I know you have a team of dozens of lawyers under you, but you wanted to be the lead attorney. And I served with you 20 years ago when you were a line attorney and you got up to be one of the senior attorneys in the city and didn't have an opportunity and went on to another city and then came back to our capital city, the great city of Sacramento, and served with distinction for 8 years as our vice mayor noted. And now you're moving on to another opportunity. So I just want to wish you well and thank you for your service to the people of the city of Sacramento. Thank you.
Thank you.
One of your colleagues would like to say a few words.
So thank you, Vice Mayor. I don't usually get to speak up, but I had to take the opportunity to say thank you to my partner at the city, my favorite attorney. Sorry. my founding IDT member, and my friend. So Susanna, your influence on the city of Sacramento and me will be long-lasting. Thank you.
Yes, Susanna, your turn.
All right, kind of like Lachelle, I'm so fine up there. I don't have to speak. I can just sit there. The whole night goes by and I don't have to say a thing. That's a good night for me. That's a good council meeting for me. So it's a little weird being on this side, but thank you. Thank you for this. I do want to point out, I do have my family. I have Maddie, my youngest, who proud Sacramentan resident, tries to get everybody they know to move to Sacramento, live in Oak Park, and they're back there. Maddie, at least wave your hand. My best friend for more than 32 years, my partner in crime and life, my biggest cheerleader, Joseph Wood, my husband, back there. On any given council night or any other day, depending on the kind of day that I've had, he meets me at the door with either a hug or a beer, or sometimes both. Sometimes 3 beers. Sometimes he'll say 2-3 beer night. Yeah. Vice Mayor, thank you for insisting to do this, because I did not want it. LaShawn and I were like, no, we're good. Let's just ride off into the sunset. Thank you. Because we forget that it's not just about us, it's about inspiring others for these careers. And certainly for me, I've been very passionate about not just getting people into the practice of municipal law, which we all love. We've all made our career of it, but also to encourage Latinos and other young people of color to come into this field and to learn about cities and to work with them. So thank you for reminding me that, yes, take the bow, it's okay. So I really appreciate we worked together a long time versus a staffer, and now it's been my honor to work with you as a council member. And Councilmember Maple, for those wonderful words, thank you so much. That means everything. And as you and Councilmember Captain and Councilmember, you all deserve another term. For heaven's sakes, you're outstanding council members. I'm so happy you're representing. Yeah, I can say that because I'm going to be in a different city, so it's okay. Now I can actually speak my mind about. So good for you, and thank you, Councilmember Vang. And I'm so proud and happy that you're throwing your hat in the ring for Congress, because your heart and hustle belongs in Congress, representing all of us. So thank you for doing that. Yes, Councilmember Guetta and Councilmember Jennings, I think back about, it was coming in to interview, my 3rd time coming in to interview for the city attorney position. I'm like, they don't want me. It's not going to work this time, so I was kind of like, I'm just going to give you everything I got, and if it's not good enough, you're not going to hire me. And then you did. And you're the last 2 that were on the council group that hired me. And I think it's a testament that almost 8 years later, which is essentially 2 council terms, you're still supportive. And you made me cry, and I didn't want you to make me cry, but I thank you so much. I mean, it's constant. When I first got here, Councilmember Guetta, you threw a reception for me. I've been here 3 months, and nobody even paid attention that they had a new city attorney, but you made sure the community knew, and I thank you for that. I've never forgotten it, because I thought that was really special and really welcoming. And Councilmember Jennings, you always give me permission to make good trouble, so thank you for that. I have my fellow council appointees. I don't know if they're behind me someplace. I mean, obviously, Lachelle's one of them. And we've been through a lot of stuff together. And I'm so proud to work alongside them. No one gets us, but that's okay. Thanks to the council for having us go through that inclusion training, because that brought us together so well. And I mean, even we did so much through that. I mean, even Colville liked me at the end of it, and Colville doesn't like everybody, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good to say that. I'm going to give a special shout out to Mindy. She and her team are the lubricant that keeps this machine called City Hall running. Pint-sized powerhouse of a clerk, a designated warrior for all of us that looks out for every detail, from going to the store herself to make sure there's food for you all to eat on a long day with a lot of meetings, to making sure that she gets out the agendas every week for all the multiple council meetings, and If she's bugging you about something, which she does, or triple checking with you about something, it's her job. It's her doing her job so that you're free to come here and do the very, very, very hard work of governing, which you all have so much in front of you to do. And this council has so much work ahead of it. I'll be watching. Obviously, I got invested family member here in Sacramento. There's so much work to be done, and I know you guys are in a real good spot to do it. The new additions to the council, I haven't had a chance to work with you as much, but I like what I hear so far. So I think that's going to be really interesting next year as you go through about your all the things you're going to do. I don't think Mr. Lambert Davis is here, but I do want to add my voice to his plea. Give Mindy a raise so some other agency doesn't steal her. Finally, I'm going to get the microphone view and judgment for a minute, because I want to address my staff. Whew. If you're with the city attorney's office, can you raise your hand? I mean, a simply outstanding group of professionals, and it's been an honor of a lifetime to lead you all and work with you. And I did come back, as the mayor said. I came back because I just wanted to work with this city and city attorney's office just one more time in my career, and I got so lucky to have you. I inherited a lot of you, and I hired a lot of you, so it's a wonderful mix. And I've told all of you in separate conversations, you can't leave. You can't leave Sacramento unless I hire you in San Jose. You can't leave, though, otherwise. Sorry about that. I told the council when I gave my notice that I was confident the city was in good hands with the legal team, because it is. It's an amazing, tremendous legal team. You are the glue. You are the glue. You are the ones that hold it all together. You're the first ones everybody goes to when there's a problem, and the last ones to get accolades. But you do it anyways because you have such pride in the work, and you're such pros, and you're so good at it. We've been through some stuff together. We have taken people to school. Everything thrown at you, you've handled. Every time I raise the bar, you exceed it. And continue this high-level work. This council and this city deserve nothing less than your everyday excellence, which you do it, because there's a lot of work to be done, and everything that comes in front of them, you touch. And so keep that up. You're so collaborative. You work together so well. You make me so proud all the time. You're wicked smart. And I think that, I'm in denial. I keep telling you this, that I'm actually not taking you with me. I'm acting like, I'm going, but you're all coming with me. But I will carry you right here, and right here. And may the force be with you always.
Don't forget the rest of it. Sit down, yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah. We gotta move. Okay. All right, next item, please. Next item, please.
Mayor, we now move to the consent calendar, and interim city manager had to read to the record on item 6. I have
item
no
number
speakers on the consent calendar.
Item number 6, page 8, there's a map at the bottom for the queue. Item 16 should say open space, natural area, in parentheses, 156 acres. That's the only change.
Okay, thank you. Noted.
Do we have council comments on the consent calendar? I'm assuming Mayor Pro Tem Guerra?
Yes.
Thank you. Item 13 and item number 6.
Councilmember Kaplan?
Item 1, please.
And Councilmember Dickinson?
Item 13.
13. So let's start with Councilmember Kaplan on item 1.
I just want to say, if anybody from North Natomas is watching, we're getting lights for our softball fields. These are the contracts moving forward. So I want to thank Jason and Jackie and our parks team. It has taken way too many years, but very excited that we are now installing lights at the softball fields so that kids can play into the night instead of going to a different area of the city or another city to be able to play. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Guerra on item 6 and then 13.
Thank you very much. Briefly on item 6, I want to thank my District 6 Commissioner, Victoria Vasquez, for reaching out and support on this, and also encouraging that we look at further definitions on overall city on what natural lands or what is working lands or native lands, so that we can get into the same coordination on vocabulary. With that, very supportive. And then on item number 13, Madam City Clerk, members of the council, this is an item that's dear to my heart. We're recognizing a little bit of a lot of work from a person who was very instrumental in ensuring that the state and locally we considered active transportation as a true alternative form of transportation. Maggie O'Hara was a very active community member at Tahoe Park, very active in the neighborhood association, and one of the early persons who was pushing for bike lanes so that we can create some safety for folks, and was able to actually push the city, one of the biggest obstacles in getting more bike lanes early on. I also want to thank her and Tom early on, because it was the first time I got interested in policy and looking at details and thinking through about what is good long-term planning and good housing and land use planning when I first got my appointment on the County Planning Commission. And so I just wanted to thank the city staff here and all the Sacramento area bike advocates for submitting this application to recognize Maggie O'Hara in this item. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Dickinson on 13.
Thanks. I just wanted to add how pleased it makes me to see Maggie recognized. Maggie was one of the people I worked with very, very closely as a supervisor on the kinds of issues that Mayor Pro Tem Guerra has referred to. But Maggie left an indelible impression. Maggie is someone who, in a very compelling way, just was persistent about what she cared about and what she believed in, and she was an absolutely terrific contributor to the benefit of the neighborhood as a whole. So I was delighted to see this, and if it was Saba who suggested, hats off to them. But congratulations also to Councilmember Guerra for making this happen too.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Mayor, with that, I'll like to move the consent calendar, and on behalf of Maggie O'Hara.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Before that, I just want to note that Maggie was my neighbor in Tahoe Park when I became a neighborhood activist and a Tahoe Park Neighborhood Association board member. She was a past president of the Tahoe Park Neighborhood Association. I think probably the most outstanding president, outranking you and the former Mayor Steinberg, who are also presidents of the Neighborhood Association. But, you know, she will be missed, and I always remember her riding her bike down T like you do today. Council member, I know that she'd appreciate that you're pushing forward the same policies that she, you know, worked for her entire life. So thank you. And with that, we have a motion and a second on the consent calendar. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any noes or abstentions? Hearing none, the consent calendar passes. Next item.
Thank you. We move to the discussion calendar. Item 14 is agreements, residential organic material diversion services.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mayor, members of the council. Happy 9/16 Day. Happy to be here today to bring forward a project. The recommendation today is to approve 3 agreements for the processing of the city's residential organic waste collected by city forces. This includes leaf green and yard waste and food waste in our weekly collection program. Also includes material from Loose in the Street collection, November through February, also known as leaf season. These are 10-year agreements before you this afternoon with options for renewal. A little background. The goal here is to continue our compliance with Senate Bill 1383, the short-lived climate pollution reduction strategy from 2016. SB 1383 requires cities and counties to divert 75% of organics from landfill by 2025. That is a statewide goal with programmatic requirements on the city, which we meet through this program and other efforts that we do to comply with the law. In response to Senate Bill 1383, the city participated in a regional request for a proposal with the County of Sacramento and City of Folsom back in 2018 and 2019. A little word about that alliance. It was formed because Sacramento County, the City of Folsom, and the City of Sacramento are the municipal collectors in the region. So we decided to work together because together we gain economies of scale with combined tonnage, and to not work against each other, competing for limited markets for organics in the region. From that RFP, back in 2018 and 19, the city and county awarded short-term agreements in 2020 and 2021. Happy to report the program is very successful. We've achieved regulatory compliance with Senate Bill 1383. We are in very good standing with the state on Cal Recycle on SB 1383. We are collecting and recycling residential food waste together with our leaf green and yard waste. We average 75,000 tons of organics per year, all recycled. This also implements a very vital part of the city's climate action plan. And those agreements that were implemented back in 2020 and 2021 are expiring within the next year to 2 years. So with that, the city entered into a longer-term request for a proposal process with the County of Sacramento and City of Folsom, same partners as before. 6 proposals were received. We had an evaluation committee consisting of 2 staff from each jurisdiction, along with a consultant, HDR, that performed a technical and cost analysis, the goal being to fit the regional tonnage into current and future capacity. Also, the goal being to minimize vehicle miles traveled, or VMTs, for each jurisdiction's collection operations. Out of that technical analysis and scoring, the evaluation committee recommended awarding contracts to 3 proposers: Yolo County, Agriman, and Recology. The city contracts before you today for approval are with Yolo, Agriman, and with Sacramento County. They are a partner that allows us to utilize their North Area Recovery Station, and from there, organics will be sent to either Yolo or Recology. This next graphic gives you an idea of where material moves throughout the region. As you can see, most of the material from District 1 and all of District 3 goes directly off route to Yolo, along with part of District 4. All of District 2, parts of District 1 and 4 go to the Sacramento County NARS facility for transfer, and parts of District 4 and the entirety of Districts 5, 6, and 7, and 8 go to the Elder Creek Transfer Station, where Agriman has an operation and transfers and processes the material for composting there. Why approve these agreements today? This was a very large RFP effort to solicit, evaluate, and determine the best solution for the city and the region. A huge body of work went into the agreements that are before you for approval today. It leverages the regional tonnage for better pricing rather than the city going with tonnage alone. If we were to go back out, for example, we would likely get the same results, only with not as good pricing, because we don't have the economies of scale for leveraging tonnage, including our partners in Sac County and Folsom. There is limited organics capacity in Northern California. The idea today to secure a long-term home for the city's organics before other jurisdictions come online or possibly take that capacity. Also, again, it minimizes vehicle miles traveled to our processors. That previous graphic shows you how we efficiently come off route and get to facilities as fast as we can without putting a lot of miles on our trucks or clogging up city streets, and that supports the city's climate action goals. Also ensures long-term regulatory compliance, because this is similar to what we're doing right now, so we're in good standing now, we'll continue to be. The facilities and vendors are local. We are the farm-to-fork capital, and this, we call it fork-to-farm. Completes the cycle, our material actually going back into the soil and becoming a soil amendment and compost that benefits the environment. Also continues our very popular compost giveaway program. Since April, we've given away over 13,000 bags of compost to city residents, and that amounts to over 500 tons of compost given back to the city, so residents feel connected to the program, and that program will continue under these agreements. And that helps fulfill our Senate Bill 1383 procurement requirements. We're actually required to buy a certain amount of compost under the law, and that program fulfills that. The recycling and diversion methods are state approved, and they do have significant environmental benefit. Representatives from each of the contracts are here in the audience today should you have specific questions about any of the agreements. As the last slide, another benefit of these agreements, there are low tonnage minimums for each of the contracts. We have to meet a certain amount of tonnage to comply with the agreement. We'll never be paying for air. In other words, we'll always be bringing material because the tonnage minimums that we need to meet are low and easily met. And that allows us potential to divert tonnage to new emerging technologies. We have a possible nexus for things like a commercial RFP for wood waste we're considering. And as well, we also process our neighborhood cleanup material. I'm pretty proud of that. We're one of the jurisdictions in the regions that actually diverts and recycles material from our junk pickup. So when somebody calls for an appointment, puts material out, we separate the metals and the wood and the material that's recyclable out of the junk pickup. Also, these agreements have high maximum capacities for increase in material. Should one facility go down or one facility have a problem, we could divert material to the other 2 contracts, so we always have a home for the city's green waste. Another important note, rate stability. I'll be happy to report that no residential rate increase is forecasted in the next couple of years from our division. I will not be back asking for more for a rate adjustment in the next 2 to 3 years. Beyond that, we don't have the forecast yet to see very clearly in the out years 3, 4, and 5. But for the next 2 to 3 years, no residential rate adjustment. And finally, a very important part of this program is the city's garbage and recycling agreements expire in February 2032. So we have 6 years to go, a little bit more than that, on the garbage and recycling agreements. A very encompassing and comprehensive RFP process is in the very near future for our division to find a long-term home for recycling and organics. So it's important, we feel, to first at least get the organics set up for the long term, and that's what these 10 years agreements do. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. And as I mentioned, members of the contract teams are all here if we have any questions about the specific contracts.
Thank you. Do we have public comment?
I have one speaker, Evan Edgar.
Good afternoon, mayors, council members. My name is Evan Edgar. I'm the engineer for the California Compost Coalition. And I gotta admit that I'm pretty proud of these 3 contracts, as all 3 members of where this compost is going are members of the California Compost Coalition. We're a lobbying firm that represent organic compost statewide. The compost that will be produced at all 3 facilities, YOLO and up in Recology and over at Elder Creek and the ranch, is all certified organic compost. It's clean, meets all the specifications, and it's a future. So it's clean and source separated. The best part about these contracts is that they're local. You reduce the VMTs and you're implementing your climate action plan. I've been before this council many times supporting the climate action plan to divert organics from the landfill and to create carbon farming, where you take this organic material, you take it to the ranches, you take it to the farms, because for a long time, City of Sacramento was the city of trees, producing a lot of green waste for compost, and now you're farm to fork, where you need compost for healthy soils. So you guys had the crux of doing the right thing. I definitely have to commend Councilmember Guerrera. I work at the CARB a lot, and at the CARB level, we produced a scoping plan back in 2022 that really endorses natural working lands, throughout California and the ranches. And what we're doing on this contract is replicatable statewide to all ranches. And what this program does is allow us to get carbon credits in the future, and it'll help to fund these programs to bring back biodiversity and pollinators. Plus, Eric Guerrero has an eye on the future working with hydrogen. Down the road, the city fleet, and hydrogen will be key for the city fleet, and in the future, wood waste to RFP will enable the city to look at hydrogen in the future. But the best value today and in the future will be green waste to compost for healthy soils in the state of California.
Thank you for your comments. Mayor, I have no more speakers.
Thank you. Councilmember Guerra.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Gosh, the check's in the mail, Evan. I bet those compliments. No, you caught me by surprise there. First, I do want to thank our city team, John Febo and all the folks at Solid Waste and Public Works for taking the time to really dive into these contracts. And, for those on the council, we used to have a solid waste authority, and I think Councilmember, back then Mayor McCarty was council member for the district that represents most of the landfills that bring in the waste, which I hate to call waste, from the entire county into our council district. And with it reminded me about the communities that live by the landfills and how we manage our waste and what we do to manage our waste. And the effort that's taken in these contracts, even though the county wanted to get out of the quote unquote marriage of a joint authority, our solid waste departments found that it was beneficial to stay together, to find economies of scale for our residents, but also to better manage our environment, to better manage the amount of VMT that was occurring. For a while, we were trucking all of our waste way up north, and so we'd have to have a diesel truck trucking our waste, miles away, and then come right back down, just to put them in a landfill. If it wasn't here in District 6 as well, And a couple things that I think we want to highlight. Number one, yes, for our ratepayers, our constituents, this joint effort stabilizes rates. And we know already way too much between water, sewer, our electrical rates that we talked about in the morning. The issues of rate increases are putting pressures on folks who are on a fixed income. So I think this is helpful. But more importantly as well is being good stewards of our environment, and the fact that at many of these locations, we're not treating our green waste as waste. And that, I think, has been the failure of past generations of how we've dealt with whether it's been recyclables or garbage or green waste, that we're actually looking at maximizing the energy, our bioenergy that's there. And whether it's going through now a digester in the Yolo area, whether it's Agromin working with our natural working lands, at Van Vleck Ranch, and making sure that we're, bringing back soil that frankly was destroyed because of the gold rush. And I appreciate the opportunity to go out there and learn of the land and see how during the gold rush era we destroyed the environment out there and dug it all out, and we left clay on top and lost all our topsoil. And we're returning that back through this process. And also to the point of what does it mean to use future fuels that address our air impacts, the VMT. So, and I was pushing hard on this to try to go even further, trying to figure out, can we do in this contract a biomass utilization project that looks at hydrogen or as net zero energy. And what I'm pleased to see about this is that it has moved the needle, but not recklessly either for our ratepayers, but prudently for the public health of our area. So a lot of folks sometimes think of this as just a normal contract, but sadly most folks, once they're done with the product, this is the biggest mistake. We are consumers on a daily basis, whether it's food or bioproducts, and as soon as it goes to the garbage, people forget about where it goes, like if it just disappears somewhere. It goes somewhere. And if we don't figure out how to manage our waste in the future, there will be nothing for our future generations to manage other than leftover landfills that have not been cared in another way. I do want to thank all of those that are in the solid waste industry. Many of them live in District 6 as well and work in this area. They're our neighbors. And so with that, Mayor, I do want to make a motion here to move the staff report, but also provide direction here to staff that staff begin to work at future RFP process to look at biomass utilization. I don't want to be specific to hydrogen, but there may be other tools where we can look at replacing the cost of our fuel by the fuel we produce from our area. So I'll make that staff direction with that motion with the staff direction that we look at biomass utilization as part of our future solid waste contracts. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaplan?
Thank you, Mayor. John, just a quick question. Because if somebody pulls up this report, starts reading it, they might get a little sticker shock. So it's approximately for all three of these $323 million. Just for the public, can you help them understand? Because I heard you say we're not going to be increasing rates.
Sure.
But it almost seems like, really? Because this is a lot of money.
So the not-to-exceed amounts in the agreement are for 15 years because we do a 10-year agreement with options for renewal. So the way city contracts work is you approve the entirety for the options for renewal. So it's actually, and the $300 million includes all three agreements. That would be 15 years. It also includes procurement and some money in there for contamination. Should we have contamination issues, there's a process by which the contractor can claim gross contamination or certain loads, and we would work with them to separate that and pay penalties on that. So there's an allotment in there for that, but the not-to-exceeds include a lot of extra money. In one of the slides I had the lower numbers, and those lower numbers are what you're basically committing to today, which is 10 years and the processing agreement. And the other stuff, we have yet to have any contamination issues with any of our contractors yet, but they're in there as safety mechanisms for the contractors, because sometimes we have very, very, very rarely do we have, contaminated loads that need addressing, so.
So when you and I, when you were briefing me on this, can you also explain to the public how this is actually, while it seems like a lot,
Sure.
How you package it and
Sure.
how you did this is in reality a true savings to the city?
Sure. So I think the way to look at it, and I had the same sticker shock when you look at $100 a ton or whatever for a processing fee, and it's similar to what we pay for garbage. I think the thing about garbage is when you dispose of it, it's a really simple thing to unload 8 tons of garbage and it just gets covered. I think one of our consultants in this process said, just don't focus on the $100, focus on the ton, because every ton, a ton of green waste needs to completely separate it. They're extracting garbage out of it first, they're screening the overs so that material can go to certain different uses if necessary. The food waste comes out to go digestion. So depending on the contractors, they all do it a little differently. The process of getting that material to market is what we're paying for. And it's a good method because the same with recycling and garbage, they all cost that much money. It doesn't make money, but it costs money to get rid of the material. But to do it right, it costs money as well. So.
Well, and I appreciate that. One of the other questions my staff asked, because, SB 1383, while it's required, still kind of new in educating everybody, and we have given out green waste buckets. Have you seen a difference or an increase in organic waste and a decrease in solid waste, and what numbers do you have?
We have, and I replied today to that. Thank you for asking that question, because we were able to scrub the numbers and have them for you today. So we look at a period from June to September because it doesn't include leaf season. Leaf season can fluctuate with weather and skew the numbers, so we're trying to get an idea of how much food waste. And from comparing 2021 to 2024, when we were in full implementation, we've seen a 19% increase in organics recycling and a 14% decrease in garbage. So the program's working. The education we do is recognized by the state. Our annual guide, it focuses a lot on organics because that's the new program. We've given out pails, tens of thousands of pails, the countertop pails for food waste. We do websites. You probably read the City Express, and I feel like I'm reading a blog every week and editing a blog to make sure it reads well every week. So we really promote that in the blogs and in the City Minute and all those things. So.
I just want to say thank you for your leadership, and I really appreciate you getting that number and that statistics, because I think it's important for our community to hear, yes, this costs a lot, everything costs a lot, but we're changing the environment, and we're doing good in, farm to fork and fork to farm. We're making it happen by reducing the level of our landfill and increasing the matter of organics. So I appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other questions?
Councilmember Dickinson.
Thanks, Mayor. As one who voted in support of the original legislation to move the recycling, reuse, and diversion requirement from 50% to 75%, I'm very happy to see this on that level. But I really just wanted to take this moment to underscore the cooperation with the county and the county of Sacramento and the county of Yolo ultimately on this. But I think it's, and you've walked that other side of the street too. I think it's a great example of what we can do together when we look functionally at what we need to accomplish in the county as a whole, and how we can do that how we can do that more effectively and better to the benefit of the residents and citizens of the county, both in terms of the accomplishment as well as the cost. So hopefully this is something that we keep in mind as we look across the spectrum of other things that we're trying to do in the city and in the county, and look for those opportunities where we can continue to work together. So I'm very appreciative of that, John. Thanks. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. I just want to note, John, thank you for the briefing. And yeah, this is, if you look at it, as Councilmember Kaplan noted, just the dollar amount, it does have a sticker shock, but thank you for the explanation. But the big picture is that, as was noted, this is where we're at now as far as, not putting all of our waste in landfills, and so much opportunity to sort out organics for purposes not just for soil, but for energy sources. And I too, like the council member, worked on and authored several organics measures over the past decade. So I'm glad to see Sacramento leading in this. And more importantly, this is leaf season. Everybody now has their ready for their green bins, but let's continue to educate people on organics recycling, on making sure that we continue to lead the way. So thank you.
Mayor, if I could also interject that the first organic waste test pilot was in District 6.
Yes.
In Elmhurst.
Correct.
And I think I still have that bucket in my office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We started that. Now we're doing it citywide, statewide. Thank you.
Thanks.
With that, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any noes or abstentions? Hearing none. Measure passes. Thank you. Next item.
We move to item number 15, which is urban level of flood protection workshop overview and status update.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council members. I'm Remy Mendoza with the Community Development Department. In today's presentation, I'll provide an overview of recent progress, key milestones, and the overall timeline for Sacramento to achieve an urban level of flood protection. Key takeaways from today's presentation include that Sacramento faces a December 31st deadline to achieve 200-year level flood protection. Flood protection projects are nearly complete but may extend beyond this deadline. Legislative relief will allow for development growth to continue. And so in today's workshop, we'll provide an overview of the context of Sacramento's flood risks, regulations, and key next steps. Our city was built at the confluence of the Sacramento American rivers, which drain a watershed the size of West Virginia. More than a century ago, it used to become an inland sea during wet years. Now, over 106 miles of levees protect more than 100,000 structures that otherwise could see flood depths of more than 10 feet and up to 20 feet in some areas. In the 175-year interval since permanent settlements of Sacramento began, we have experienced quite a few major floods as listed on the screen here. Efforts have been made to reduce flood threat by building up the level of land near rivers, building bypasses, and diverting flood water away from the area, building levees along the river channels, and building dams to control the floodwaters as well. In spite of the flood protection work that was accomplished early on, our community was threatened with catastrophic flooding in recent decades, such as in 1986, 97, and 2006. In 2017, Sacramento County was impacted by a series of atmospheric rivers and storm systems during the month of January, but most of the impacts were largely felt in Rio Linda, Point Pleasant, and Wilton. However, just 75 miles north, due to concrete breaks in the spillway at Oroville Dam, an evacuation order was issued for downstream residents, displacing nearly 200,000 residents. For Sacramento, it was the 1986 flood, about 40 years ago, that exposed Sacramento's vulnerability to catastrophic flooding. That year, Folsom Dam exceeded its normal flood control storage capacity, and several area levees nearly collapsed under the strain of the storm. We had 10 inches of rain in 11 days. In response, the Sacramento Area Flood Control Agency, SAFCA, was formed in 1999 through a joint exercise of powers agreement to provide the Sacramento region with increased flood protection along the American and the Sacramento rivers. SAFCA then commenced work with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the California State Reclamation Board to address the weaknesses in Sacramento's flood control system that were exposed during that record 1986 flood. This graphic visually shows each of the authorized projects and how they fit together in rebuilding the system in order to be able to handle larger flood events through a combination of increased storage and increased conveyance capacity. These projects have involved repairing and securing levees along the American and Sacramento rivers, as well as raising and increasing the Folsom Dam. All of the Sacramento area flood control improvement projects and the billions of dollars that have been invested in improving our levees are really critical. As shown on this blue map on the left, the vast majority of the city is dependent on levees. The light blue areas represent areas where flood insurance is encouraged, and the dark blue areas represent areas where flood insurance is mandatory. The map on the right shows the areas of the city that will benefit from the various levee system flood improvement projects once the flood improvement projects are complete. The flood protection regulatory framework for Sacramento consists of a multi-layered system. At the federal level, you have significant federal funding, the National Flood Insurance Program, which serves as a primary source of flood insurance in the United States, 100-year flood protection standard for flood insurance. At the state level, we have the State Plan of Flood Control System, state funding, and in California, a 200-year development standard for development. At the city, some of the key regulatory documents that we maintain include our general plan and our zoning code to ensure that our blueprint for growth is resilient to natural disasters such as flooding. We also have our local hazard mitigation plan and comprehensive floodplain management plan. Since 1996, the city has prepared and regularly updated a comprehensive floodplain management plan, or CFMP, which identifies 7 flood risk reduction tools, each supported by implementation strategies and action items. It's the intent of the CFMP to communicate these tools to city staff, the community, and other key partners to better facilitate an integrated, unified approach by the city to flood risk reduction. With respect to land use, for example, we regulate new development to ensure that we are providing adequate setbacks from levees. With respect to emergency management, we assist the community in preparing for, responding to, and recovering from a serious flood event. With respect to risk communication, city staff works hard to communicate flood risk to Sacramentans so that they are motivated to take all the necessary steps and use all the available tools they need to reduce their flood risk. With respect to the National Flood Insurance Program, city staff work hard to ensure that many residents can take advantage of flood insurance, including customizable coverage amounts and reduction options. 20 years ago, although it was in 2005, Hurricane Katrina occurred more than 2,000 miles away. The lives that were lost and the $125 billion in estimated damages were a wake-up call for flood-prone communities across the country. Across the country, levee standards were now going to be updated. In 2007 and 2008, California legislature passed a package of bills that mandated comprehensive planning for flood protection at the state and local level. These new laws strengthened the link between local land use decision and regional floodplain management. Cities and counties in California's Central Valley watershed within the Sacramento and San Joaquin Valley that are protected by the State Plan of Flood Control were subject to SB 5 urban level flood protection requirements. Under SB 5, the urban level of flood protection, or ULOP, this is the level of protection necessary to withstand a flood event that has a 1 in 200 chance of occurring in any given year. This standard is twice the 100-year federal flood standard. It requires cities and counties to amend the general plans and their zoning ordinances to reflect the new 200-year requirement, which the city of Sacramento did in 2015 and 2016. The Central Valley Flood Protection Act specified that beginning in July 1, 2016, about 9 years ago, cities and counties must make SB 5 findings before approving development agreements, approving tentative maps, parcel or subdivision maps, approving discretionary permits for new development, or approving ministerial permits for new residents. The required findings applicable to the city of Sacramento included 3 types of findings. These were available to us, that we currently have a 200-year level of flood protection, that we impose conditions on projects to achieve that 200-year level of flood protection, or that we're making adequate progress towards a 200-year level of flood protection by December 31st of this year. Up until now, we have been relying on making the adequate progress finding based on an annual report that has been prepared by SAFCA and accepted by City Council. As the December 31st deadline was getting closer, we learned that a few flood protection projects in Atomas and the Beach Lake subareas were experiencing some unforeseen delays. There was a possibility that beginning on January 1 of next year, we would not be able to make a Type 1 or Type 3 finding, and imposing conditions on projects would require them to be elevated, making development projects infeasible. So earlier this year, the city co-sponsored Senate Bill 639, which extends the ULOP compliance deadline by 5 years for the Natomas Basin and the Beach Lake subareas, which are the blue areas shown on this map. The green areas shown on this map will comply with the ULOP requirements by the end of this year. SB 639 is a targeted approach only for areas that need additional time. Sacramento County, Yuba County, and the city of Marysville are also co-sponsors and are also receiving an extension for their respective jurisdiction. SB 639 has been passed by both the Assembly and the Senate, and is anticipated to be signed by the governor before the October 12th deadline. SB 639 includes flood liability language that include that until 200-year improvements are complete, the city may be required to contribute its fair share of flood-related property damage if it unreasonably approves development that increases state exposure. The state has included similar language for other jurisdictions that have received an extension in the past, such as the city of West Sacramento that received an extension through 2040, and for the Mossdale tract located in San Joaquin County. The area of the city that will meet the state's urban level flood protection this year are listed as levee systems 1 through 4 on this table here. As part of this workshop today, staff are also bringing forward to City Council the urban level flood protection Dry Creek North Levee Engineers Report, requesting that Council adopt a resolution accepting evidence in support of a Type 1 finding of 200-year level flood protection for the Dry Creek North Levee system. Staff anticipates on October 21st bringing to City Council Safeca's ULAP engineers reports for items 2 to 4 listed on the table here. Additionally, when SB 639 is signed by the governor, staff will be bringing forward adequate progress reports for the Beach Lake and the North Natomas Basin sub-areas before the end of the year as well. I'd like to take a minute to also talk about the new urban levee design criteria. Safeca's engineers' reports provide substantial evidence documenting compliance with the state's urban levee design criteria, ULDC. A summary table is shown here on the screen. The ULDC provide engineering criteria and guidance for the design, evaluation, operation, and maintenance of levees and flood walls that provide an urban level of flood protection. Per the ULDC requirements, the city plans to prepare an implementation plan 1 year from adoption of these engineers' reports that are coming forward this year. The purpose of the implementation plans will be to show that progress is being made at each incremental 5-year review for a duration of 20 years. Looking ahead, these implementation plans will require significant and ongoing investments of staff time and financial resources. The ultimate approach to funding and staffing responsibilities has not yet been determined and will depend on continued coordination among the city, Safeca, and other partners. Key exceptions to be addressed in these implementation plans include right-of-way, encroachments, and penetrations. Per the new ULDC requirements, there needs to be sufficient room for levee inspections, patrolling, and flood fighting. Per the ULDC criteria, from the toe of the levee landward, there is a requirement for a minimum of 20 feet in fee title or easement, or for the rights for a 10-foot clear zone or a 20-foot visibility zone, as shown on this graphic here. We anticipate that this will impact many properties, and particularly those with backyards abutting against our levee systems. There are also encroachments that must be addressed, such as the stairways shown in this picture here, in order to ensure proper operation and maintenance, flood fighting and inspection, and we'll have to ensure that the appropriate Central Valley Flood Protection Board permits are acquired. In addition, there's also penetrations for various pipes that may be from utility companies, for example, that go through the levees, which will need to be inspected and permitted, and this will also be addressed as part of the implementation plan. In summary, this flowchart shows the overall process to support the urban level flood protection finding. Once the levee construction improvement projects are complete, an engineer's evaluation report is prepared, which is reviewed by an independent panel of experts. Safeca issues a ULAP engineer's report, which is provided to the city or county for us to make a finding that is good for 20 years, and that finding is reviewed periodically every 5 years, and then the process is repeated for another 10 years. We do foresee that there are some current challenges ahead of us, as well as some key planned actions. ULDC implementation plans for right-of-way encroachment and penetrations require a 20-year unfunded commitment, but we will continue to partner with local maintaining agencies to ensure that flood control systems remain properly operated and maintained. And with respect to the implementation plans, we'll also continue to collaborate with the local agencies, the Central Valley Flood Protection Board, to make sure that we're addressing unpermitted and non-compliant encroachments, improvements to aging drainage infrastructure, enforcement of routine inspection of privately owned penetrations for utilities, right-of-way, and then 5-year ULAP progress reporting as permitted. In terms of the next steps, today staff is asking the council adopt a resolution accepting the ULAP engineer's report for the Dry Creek North Levee system on October 21st. We'll return with 3 additional reports for the American River North, American River South, and World Arcade Creek levee systems in order to make the appropriate findings for those areas. And then before the end of the year, we'll also plan to return with adequate progress reports for the Beach Lake North Levee and the Thomas Basins, pending the passage of SB 639. And then within a year after that, staff plans to return to City Council with the development of implementation plans in order to address exceptions with respect to right-of-way, encroachments, and penetrations. This concludes my presentation. We have additional staff, floodplain management staff available here as well, SAFECA and our consultant team, if you have any questions. Thank you.
And Mayor, I have no public comment on this agenda item.
Okay, Councilmember Kaplan.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Remy. You know, water is the end-all, and being of Sacramento, we are a floodplain. Good news, SB 639 was signed by the governor, so that is a positive thing that we can be moving forward with. And thank you for all your work, because I know today just in front of us is the acceptance of Dry Creek, but I do want to call out and pause, as I had talked to you before, the unfunded mandate that SAFECA is requesting comes onto the city is unacceptable. SAFECA's, job is to work with the Army Corps of Engineer and make sure that all the tows of the levee have appropriate clearance. And I sit on the SAFECA board, and we give out settlements for encroachments or buying land from people all the time. So for me, it's confusing and a little disturbing that now SAFECA wants to transfer that responsibility to the city, where this is truly hundreds of millions of dollars to put on the city, which I think is wholly inappropriate and not what SAFECA and the Army Corps of Engineers, it makes us do their work where they were created for flood protection. So I'd like to, however we figure out an agreement with them, but I am not in favor, nor will I say that we as a city should accept the unfunded mandate and liability that SAFECA is trying to put on us as a city, when it is truly their responsibility to do this. So I'm happy to move the 200-year certification for Dry Creek.
Second. Okay, motion is second. No further comment, it appears. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any noes or abstentions? Hearing none. Measure passes 8-0 with Councilmember Vang absent. Next item.
We now move to item 16, which is review an ordinance amending various provisions of Title 17, which is Planning and Development Code, relating to cannabis land uses.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Kevin Collin. I'm the zoning administrator for the city of Sacramento, and I'm joined today with Kurt Skierski, senior planner, and supported by Greg Sandlin, our planning director, and our department director, Tom Pace. I'm pleased to present this request for review, comment, and direction concerning Title 17 Planning and Development Code amendments for all cannabis businesses. I'm going to get straight into this because we're running a little bit over. And first, why are we here today? We are here because this city commissioned a study to comprehensively address not only the business aspects, but the land use aspects of cannabis industry in this town after 5 years of operating businesses. What we found through that study was that cannabis businesses have not increased crime, they have not negatively impacted businesses, they have not negatively impacted home values. Additionally, that study documents that cannabis businesses are a significant economic driver of our city, tens of thousands of jobs. They also are a significant contributor to our city's general fund and fund important measures such as Measure U. We are here after an extensive community engagement process, starting with that study and concluding all the way through the Law and Legislation Committee, Council, and various engagement opportunities for this project and public hearing items on the ordinance in particular. We have completed research and analysis, prepared recommendations. We have vetted those publicly. We have tweaked them, and we are here in the public hearing process after presenting our recommendation to the Planning and Design Commission, receiving theirs, and additionally stopping at the Law and Legislation Committee to get their direction to come here for yours today. Now, I'd like to help frame for our audience what is zoning when it comes to cannabis. It's where. We have two titles of city code that regulate this business. Title V, our business regulations, is a separate process that gets into different subject matters, such as who the business literally is operated by, when they're open, whether they're selling particular products or not, which products, how they conduct their business, including for dispensaries in particular, how many of those businesses can operate within the city limits. Now, we have 3 points of requested direction that are going to help us prepare an ordinance for a future public hearing for your consideration. The first two concern a difference in outcome of the staff analysis and the commission's recommendation. The first is, should this ordinance include sensitive use buffers consistent with the staff recommendation of prohibitive buffers, or should they be conditional according to the commission's recommendation? If neither of those, do you have an alternative that we should put in the ordinance? What do we mean by sensitive uses? These are land uses that our current ordinance suggests that cannabis businesses, dispensaries in particular, should not be located near. However, our current ordinance imposes sensitive use buffers on 92% of property zoned for cannabis. Except for K through 12 schools, those buffers are entirely conditional under our regulations today. That means that we can and have authorized cannabis dispensaries next to residential zones, next to parks, next to daycares. And that number, looking at of our 38 operating dispensaries today, 82% of those businesses operate within a buffer. The staff conducted a rigorous analysis and came up with a list that's on the slide before you. In words, the map on the right shows the location of those sensitive uses to understand where are they. Our list is placing an emphasis on areas of public investment, areas where the youth congregate, as well as other community members, as well as sensitive use populations, rehabilitation centers being the example. Our recommendation is that those sensitive uses should be firm buffers, that there is a 600-foot distance that if you are located outside of, you may locate a cannabis business, and that is what the map on the right shows. These are properties that are located outside of the sensitive use buffers. In contrast, after the commission conducted a public hearing with some very vigorous input from community members, they concurred with our list, however, added 3 additional uses consisting of faith-based institutions, child care centers, and other dispensaries. As you can tell on the map on the right, there's more color, there are more buffers, there is more land area encumbered with a sensitive use buffer. It's just over 3,500 additional acres that are encumbered. To give you a sense about what this would mean under the commission's recommendation, this map shows purple properties that are within a buffer that would require a commission level conditional use permit, which I'll speak to in a moment, versus salmon, which are located outside of a buffer. In case it's helpful, here's a side-by-side comparison. Essentially more land area encumbered with sensitive use buffers under the commission versus staff less. And again, those side-by-side comparison. Our second point of direction we're requesting is with regard to the permit type. As I mentioned at the onset, the cannabis study documents that cannabis businesses have not resulted in increases in crime, that they have been good neighbors, and that our permit conditions that we have applied on conditional use permit applications are not yielding special or unique requirements that pertain to business practices. In our observation, the central question is, where should these businesses locate? And if we agree on a common standard and make that standard firm, an administrative permit is the appropriate vehicle compared to a conditional use permit, which is our request, which is the right permit or a combination thereof. The conditional use permit is by declared legislative purpose for properties or businesses that have unique or special problems that they're causing. And that is the purpose of applying discretion through a conditional use permit versus an administrative permit, which is the right location, verified, approve, or deny. What does this look like for business types? We are, under staff's recommendation, recommending an administrative permit, a ministerial review for all cannabis businesses with the exception of consumption lounges. This council has passed Title V business regulations for lounges. The remaining piece for that is where through zoning should they be located. Our cannabis study did not analyze lounges, and therefore we feel because of its novel, unique nature, it's new, it's few across the state and not in the city, we think a conditional use permit is the appropriate vehicle to regulate that business activity until we have some on-the-ground info about how it's going. In contrast, the commission recommends that a conditional use permit be required for additionally lounges, dispensaries, and cultivation businesses. What are some comparative aspects of these two permit types? In staff's view, the administrative permit provides a consistent, predictable standard versus our current conditional use permit process, which results in a very inconsistent, unpredictable standard. In my observation of the community discourse on this project, there are many, many comments that assume that our sensitive use buffers are firm and real today. That is not the case in reality. When we look at what is the purpose of a permit, the administrative permit aligns with the cannabis study findings versus the conditional use permit today maintains status quo. There are real cost implications and risk implications for applicants in these two processes. Administrative permits are essentially no risk. If you do due diligence, which we have defined sensitive uses that can be verified, you may, with assurance, acquire or put an option on a property for a business and know you can get a permit. Versus a conditional use permit, there is increased risk and a higher cost. There are additional processes for the outcome should the decision on that permit not be satisfactory to any party. We have reconsideration or appeal for each of those. Finally, a third point of direction we're looking for, council, is we have some existing dispensaries in the city that are located within sensitive use buffers. Some of those include school buffers. They would like to open consumption lounges, some of them. Should they be allowed to locate within a sensitive use buffer is the first question, and a conditional use permit would be the vehicle for a legal non-conforming status to consider that is the proposal that came for consideration through the Law and Legislation Committee that you give direction on. With that, I'll thank you for your attention. Staff's here for questions. I'm sure we have some comments too.
Okay, public comment?
Thank you, Mayor. I have 16 speakers. I'm going to call off quite a few names so you can line up in the aisle. Deanna Garcia, Kimberly Cargile, Maisha Bahati, Jen Pratt.
How we doing? Thank you for your time today. Mayor, City Council, City staff, appreciate being up here and talking about this today. So I'm requesting and asking that the city please follow the state's sensitive uses. It does not include libraries, museums. It's just, they're just throwing things in there now. I think that we need to realize that this is an overbearing ask. And then with the new map, as you can see, our areas of being able to do business get smaller and smaller. And then last but not least, the CUP is a right not only of the business owner, but of the community, and I feel it's very important to keep it in place. Have a great day.
Thank you. And Mayor, before we go to the next speaker, if I may, on item 15, Councilmember Vang was in the back room listening to the staff report and would like to be reflected as an aye vote on that item. Any concerns? Thank you. Thank you. Yes, you can hear in the back room. So Kimberly Cargill is our next speaker. Back room, yes. Councilmember Vang was in the back room, not the restroom. So Ms. Cargill, you can hear there too. Please proceed.
Good afternoon. My name is Kimberly Cargile. I'm the owner of a Therapeutic Alternative, a medically focused dispensary in East Sacramento founded in 2009. For over 15 years now, we have operated without complaint near a long list of sensitive uses. For many years now, I have planned a beautiful healing garden hidden away from those passing by, totally private, a place full of flowers and water features, a place where seniors can come and have tea, a place where we can provide education on cannabis, the endocannabinoid system, terpenes, administrative techniques, dosage, and contraindications. It will be a place where service providers can provide yoga, Reiki, massage therapy, sound therapy, support groups, etc. This will be a type 1 on-site use, meaning that there will be no smoking. For over 15 years, the Therapeutic Alternative has been a pillar of our community, fostering safety, support, and engagement. We have helped maintain security in our neighborhood, particularly during challenging times such as the pandemic, civil unrest, and the rise in homelessness. As active members of McKinley East Sac Neighborhood Association's Yellow Brick Road project, our security team ensures the safety of children walking to and from Miwok Middle School every morning and afternoon. The children are safer because we are there. We have also established a direct line of communication with McKinley Montessori School, providing our security team's contact information, an invaluable resource that has been used numerous times over the years. The city recently commissioned a study that shows that cannabis businesses have not resulted in unique impacts or problems, increased crime, or negatively affected property values. So why are we reducing the area in which cannabis businesses cannot locate? Why are we over-concentrating them in certain areas in certain districts? I ask you for a compromise. Allow the staff's recommendation to change the requirement to administrative permission.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Our next speaker is Maisha Bahati. Your time is complete. Maisha, then Jen Pratt, then Jen Copenhagen.
Good afternoon, Council. Good afternoon, Mayor. My name is Maisha Bahati. I am the CEO of Crystal Nugs, first Black women-owned dispensary here in Sacramento. I am one of 2 equity-owned dispensaries interested in this pilot program. I'm also one of 2 dispensaries located here in District 4 that resides within a sensitive use. In my case, it is a faith-based institution. I support staff's recommendation because you do not include churches. I also ask that you create a pathway for dispensaries within sensitive uses for CUP, so they have a chance. I got a CUP, I went through the entire process, including a planning and commission hearing in 2022, because when we got our building, there was a small congregation that was within 600 feet. We were approved. Within a year later, that congregation moved out. So technically, we didn't have a sensitive use. Last year, another small congregation moved in. Now, this congregation is only open Sunday mornings, and they're closed for the rest of the week. So they're closed 97% of the week. However, their presence alone is now putting us back on the sensitive use list. And I feel like that poses a problem, because the question becomes, if we got our CUP first and a sensitive use moves in after us, why are we then penalized for being potentially ineligible to participate and/or having to go a harder route just because the sensitive use moved in beyond our control. And we've seen that happen before in the South of Sacramento with a drug rehabilitation center. So this is something that has happened before and it's going to happen again. So I think that there needs to be a clear policy that protects dispensaries from that. This is bigger than me. This is about equity. This is about giving people a fair chance. So again, I support staff recommendation, and I also ask that you create a pathway for those of us who are within a sensitive use. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Jen Pratt, Jen Copenhagen, Aaron Cardoza, and feel free to line up in the middle aisle.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Jennifer Pratt, and I'm in the management team at a therapeutic alternative here in Sacramento. I've worked there for over 10 years now. Before entering the cannabis space, I was a licensed life enrichment director for assisted living and memory care communities, specializing in seniors with dementia. What I've learned in both fields is that people heal and thrive in safe, supportive environments where they can learn, ask questions, and build meaningful connections. That's exactly what our Healing Tea Garden aims to offer, a welcoming space that reduces isolation and fosters community, especially for vulnerable populations. A therapeutic alternative has operated as a legal, non-conforming dispensary for many years now, located near multiple sensitive uses. And in that time, we've only helped improve the safety and vitality of our neighborhood. That's why I'm asking you to reconsider the proposed zoning changes. These changes risk punishing responsible operators who've been part of the community long before these new rules were proposed. And if a sensitive use moves in today near our location, we'd lose the opportunity to apply for additional permits, like this on-site consumption, and our community is asking for that from us. Instead of encouraging growth and innovation, this policy would box cannabis businesses into small, over-concentrated areas, disproportionately affecting certain council districts. I support a compromise. Adopt the staff recommendation to change the required permit from a conditional use permit to an administrative permit for all cannabis uses, except consumption lounges. For those located within a buffer of a sensitive use, require a planning commission CUP with public input and tailored conditions. Let's move forward, not backwards, with policies that reflect the real positive impact that we've had and the potential we still have to serve our city. Thank you.
Give your comments. Jen Copenhagen, then Aaron Cardoza.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Copenhaver, and I'm a manager at a therapeutic alternative. We serve our aging and elderly community, many of whom have a very limited social circle, and we are a part of that circle. Our members and patients want a safe space where they may socialize and participate in activities that incorporate cannabis. We are in a sensitive use area and are at risk of losing the opportunity to provide this for our members and patients, since K through 12 schools would be excluded from the CUP process. We would like to offer a healing tea garden that would not include smoking or vaping. It would be in a private outdoor space, not visible from the street, and would not pose exposure to students. Imagine a setting with beautiful plants, water features, and small garden tables. Picture mom and grandma sipping cannabis tea, engaged in conversation with friends. Picture CBD reflexology services and guest speakers providing information about holistic uses of cannabis. This is far from what the picture of corrupting children looks like. We have been a model dispensary and partner with the Midtown East Sac Advocates by providing a security presence before and after school through their Yellow Brick Road project. We have never been approached by students inquiring about cannabis in the years we've been doing this. Instead, when they see our guard on the corner, they know their path home has been made safe. Our dispensary would be excluded from the consumption pilot program simply because of our location. Instead, there should be consideration for our neighborhood's wants and needs, our longstanding positive track record, and what we intend to offer to our patients. This should not be a one-size-fits-all determination. Without consideration for neighborhood-specific variables, we are holding on to a fear that simply our very presence corrupts children. Time has proven this way of thinking to be flawed. We take very seriously our place in our neighborhood and the safety of the children within it. Please remove language that would shut us out of the CUP process. Proximity is not the whole story. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Aaron Cardoza, then Angelica Sanchez.
Hello, guys. Mayor, City Councilman, Sacramento, City of Sacramento. My name is Aaron Cardoza. I have a youth program. Some of our youth is here today in the Del Paso Heights area, District 2. Thank you to Roger Dickinson for coming through and seeing some of the programs that we do have in our neighborhood. And we're trying to get more programs in the neighborhood, not cannabis clubs. I'm sorry to say this, but it will be affecting our youth, especially if you put it in a residential area by a park or a school. Even nowadays, marijuana is not just medical anymore. All you need is an ID to go into a cannabis club and get some weed and then come out and you can smoke it. So it doesn't matter about the zones of where you can smoke it. Anybody can come and smoke right in front of the kids, especially if it's in front of a park or in front of a school, which we really don't need that, especially in District 2 neighborhood. We're trying to keep these kids safe and keep our kids from doing drugs, because what that leads to from marijuana could be fentanyl, could be another drug. So I'm just here on the safetyness of my youth, of trying not to put it, especially around schools or parks or anything like that, because it's not safe for our community, and that's why I'm here today. So if you follow the CUP rules and regulations and stick to that, then we'll make sure that, our kids are safe and they just don't have cannabis. Because what's the difference between a cannabis club going next to a school? There's no difference from a strip club next to a school. Think about it like that. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Angelica Sanchez, then Kevin W. McCarty, then James Allison.
Yes. Massive confusion.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Angelica Sanchez, and I'm here on the behalf of Perfect Union, a cannabis retailer that has operated in the city for the last 15 years. First, I'd like to thank you and the city staff for all the work that they've put into these changes. Kevin and Kirk, special thank you, as they were confusing even for us on this side, on the cannabis end. That said, we strongly support the addition of new zones for retail. Finding compliant locations was one of the hardest things to do when you're a cannabis retailer. So adding in the new zones, RMX, C1, and C3, will give us more options and help protect our businesses from predatory landlords that know we don't have any other alternatives. We also agree with Planning and Design's Commission's recommendation to keep the conditional use permit process for retailers and cultivation. If there's a sensitive use nearby, operators should still have the chance to make their case, while still giving the city the full authority to review that permit. Lastly, we asked you that you create a carve-out for legacy operators like a therapeutic alternative so they can open on-site consumption lounges under the pilot program. These businesses have operated in the city for years with no issues, and they shouldn't, this opportunity shouldn't be taken away from them just because the site that they originally opened in is near a sensitive use. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The next speaker, I will read the name. Don't be confused. It's Kevin McCarty. Yes. So two things are not the same, it appears. Yes. This has created great confusion over the years. Lots of, what are you doing, Mr. McCarty? You're being mayor and operating a cannabis industry business, and so this helps clarify the situation. Mr. McCarty, please proceed.
Thank you, Mayor McCarty. I'm sure we share many things in common, but we are different people. Mayor and council members, my name is Kevin McCarty, as noted here on behalf of Capital Compliance Management. On sensitive uses, so staff recommends expanding the list of sensitive uses and prohibiting any cannabis business from locating within those buffers. But let's remember that 92% of the land is within a sensitive use buffer, as noted by staff, and 82% of existing dispensaries are already located within one. If you prohibit outright, you are essentially shutting the door to future business opportunities across most of the city. By contrast, the Planning and Design Commission's recommendation adds additional sensitive uses, but preserves a CUP pathway for projects in those areas. We believe this strikes the right balance. The community still gets a chance to weigh in, but viable projects are not blocked by a blanket prohibition. On permit type, here we urge you to side with staff. The EPS study made it clear cannabis businesses have not increased crime, reduced property values, or caused unique land use impacts. CUPs are supposed to address uses with distinct impacts, but nearly every CUP for cannabis is approved, rarely with any condition specific to location or operation. The result, unnecessary and often prohibitive CUP costs and delays. By contrast, an administrative permit is far more accessible, especially for newer operators who are looking to get opportunity in this business. Public notice remains, conditions can still be imposed for unique sites, and enforcement is clearer and more consistent. The balanced path forward is this. On sensitive uses, adopt the Planning and Design Commission's recommendation. Allow a discretionary path forward rather than an outright ban. On permit types, adopt staff's recommendation. Make all cannabis uses except for consumption lounges ministerial where they are outside sensitive buffers. The hybrid approach ensures Sacramento maintains fairness and flexibility while reducing unnecessary regulatory burden. It prevents the over-concentration of businesses in just 2 districts, preserves equity for core participants, and acknowledges that cannabis businesses are now one of the city's top 10 employers and revenue contributors. Mayor and Council, today you have a chance to make Sacramento's land.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Our next speaker is James Allison, then Jeremy Stiggy, then Carla Black.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council members, and staff. My name is James Allison, Executive Director of the Power In Alliance. We're a property business improvement district in District 6, representing over 6.2 square miles of our city's manufacturing and industrial core, as well as the 30,000 jobs within it. Ultimately, putting this into a sort of 2-issue sort of area. The first is that, as you could see within the documents for the staff report, when you look at the map and you see the highest propensity of cannabis businesses, you will definitely notice Councilmember Guerra's district as being a nice open spot where cannabis businesses can come in without worry of sensitive use. What that has created is a high density of cannabis businesses within our area. We're not opposed to them by any means. We openly welcome new businesses to come into the Power and Alliance District. But ultimately, what we do seek is a continuation of the CUP process. Number one, we do think that the city should look for new opportunities to be able to expand the zones in which cannabis businesses can exist here in the city. But ultimately, the challenge that we face right now is that it is a different sort of business. It has its own unique challenges that come along with it. And the industry itself is fledgling and new by comparison to a lot of our legacy businesses that we have in the city. There's an irony that comes from being a pro-business organization saying, let's keep a requirement that provides a greater level of scrutiny on businesses. But ultimately, the CUP process provides a very valuable tool for the surrounding community and the surrounding businesses to place in some common sense and in some cases, very tailor-made conditions upon those businesses. If anything, this conversation today really highlights and opens up a great opportunity to start looking at our CUP process as a whole. If CUPs are entirely too difficult for cannabis businesses to obtain, why don't we take a look at where we can improve the CUP processes for all businesses of any type? Thank you.
Our next speaker is Stiggy, then Carla Black, then Mindy Calloway.
How y'all doing today? My name is Jeremy Stiggy. Unfortunately, I'm part of the homeless community, and it is what that is. All I'm here to say is we have enough problems in our community where we don't have access to the right things. And with the marijuana thing, we could really use that access for the mental health of our people. Much beyond that, I mean, we're just trying to survive out here, and we don't got the access, and everybody's got this fentanyl addiction problem and everything. So I think it'd be an awesome thing if we were able to have more recreational around our parks. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Carla Black, then Mindy Galloway.
I'm going to talk really fast. The comprehensive study that staff keeps referring to has 2019 and 2020 data, which at this point is outdated and obsolete because we're heading into 2026. Also, the authors of the study are cannabis industry advocates. That's like having a tobacco company creating its own study to promote its safe use. This is not a grassroots community request. It feels like a top-down effort that promotes drugs rather than protecting the public. Staff has also failed to not notify the public properly while ensuring industry was informed for today's hearing. Mayor McCarty Katie Maples, Lisa Kaplan, and Roger Dickinson of District 2 have all received cannabis industry contributions that can be verified on their donor contribution page, Schedule A, Form 406, available on the website. This raises serious concerns about industry influence on these votes. Eliminating the public for administerial, which staff is recommending, eliminating the public is undemocratic. It eliminates our voice, and doesn't allow for participation in our own democracy. Staff is recommending this by recommending the cannabis permitting process from conditional to administrative. Why does this industry get an exception and others don't? Staff has redefined sensitive uses in a way that benefits the industry's agenda, expanding dispensary locations and square footage while weakening protections for children. Why is staff narrowing the definition to exclude private youth facilities, putting children at risk simply for wanting to go skating or attend youth groups? This change exposes the kids to unnecessary danger and falls under the Health and Safety Code 113531. This whole conversation revolves putting drugs around youth. I'm completely flabbergasted as to how this discussion has even gotten this far in the for a council vote. We must protect our future, which is our youth. Thank you.
Your comments. I have 5 more speakers, Mindy Galloway, then Zion Tatis.
Hi, good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Mindy Galloway. I'm the owner of the Pocket Dispensary. And the finding a building and going through the CUP process was the most expensive and time-consuming part of getting a dispensary. And so I appreciate the effort and the work that it's taken to streamline the process and move to administrative. I do urge you to consider being able to go through the CUP process when it comes to anything within a sensitive use. The map, you see it's very limited. It's very difficult to be able to find a building. And when there is a building within a sensitive use, it is great to be able to have that input from the community to be able to voice their concerns and be able to work with community members in order to find a pathway forward for cannabis businesses and to work within the community, which is what we really, really like to do. And in this process, I would also urge you to include the consumption lounges in the CUP process so that the neighborhood can have input on that, and let dispensaries like a Therapeutic Alternative and Crystal Nugs be able to open their lounges with their community's input. I used to work at a Therapeutic Alternative for many years. Kimberly Cargile is a model dispensary owner, and I have learned so much from her, and I know that she would have a great type 1 tea garden in her space. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Zion, and then Jacob Schmidt. Following Jacob is Adiola.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm the founder and the owner of Shashamane Institute. And the space on Florine Road, I have 3 acres of land to be able to build my Shashamane Institute. But I have CUP, which took nearly over 2 years, 3 years, just to get my CUP for cultivation, manufacturing, distribution, school, and a wellness center as well. So it's just an amazing project to get that done. But there is a lot of hurdle. There is a lot of, for us just to even get the SMUD, it's taking me a year and a half. So altogether, just my land is just sitting there to be used because of a lot of bureaucracy and hurdle going on when it comes to cannabis. So all I wanted to do is build my Shashamane Institute, and I don't believe cannabis is a drug. It's a healing plant. Everybody sees it a different way. But where I'm at is I'm actually in the zone, but I'm not able to build what I need to do because of the hurdle is not just the CUP, the fund, the resources and everything. Instead of focusing on that, we're still trying to add more, but we still, 5-6 years later, all of us are having a hard time being successful. So I'd rather you guys focus on your policy also that helps us build our businesses, because the whole point was for underserved, underrepresented community. We fought for cannabis equity. You promised us to get us fund, resources, spaces. I have space, I have resource. I just need the fund, but you guys are just wasting the money into resources, and just 80% of it is going to just paying staff, which is like needs to be changed instead of investing in us.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Jacob, then Adiola, then Charles Ramirez will be our final speaker.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Jacob. I'm the owner of a dispensary in the city of Sacramento. I wanted to address the issue of buffers between dispensaries. I strongly urge the council to consider increasing that buffer to 2,000 feet. Allowing dispensaries to cluster together creates oversaturation and would harm existing cannabis businesses, including original license holders and core equity license, creating unhealthy competition in an already struggling market. This would take jobs from existing businesses and give them to businesses directly next door, not creating extra revenue or creating jobs. We've invested millions in our operation. The new rigid buffer zones are implemented. The new rigid buffer zones are implemented especially around sensitive uses. If the new rigid buffer zones are implemented, our industry will become far more limited. I've been to 2 conditional use permits. If I want to move my store again, what if I want to move my store again? Dispensaries can operate near various sensitive uses and locations with Planning Commission approval, which allows for community input through public hearings. If we have hard set sensitive uses buffers with administrative process, we risk severely restricting these dispensaries despite having a system that already works. I appreciate everyone's time here. Just one more thing. If the city's intent is to create more tax revenue, possibly increase the 4% to 6%, we can absorb that. I know no one wants to hear this.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Our next speaker is Adiola, then Charles.
Good afternoon, council member, and thank you for the opportunity to share my story once again. My name is Adiola Adipe. I'm a mother, I'm a cannabis counselor, and I'm also a business owner in the cannabis industry. I'm in support of reconsidering the proposal. These type of things are dramatically hurting the industry. It's providing less space for patients. I always advocate for the patients. For you guys who don't know my story, my son Aiden, when he was 2 years old, he was diagnosed with T-cell leukemia and given 3 days to live. And I did come from a very conservative background, and cannabis literally saved his life. I ended up going to a therapeutic alternative, which I do work there now because I love being patient-forward and driven. This is also becoming a public safety issue. We have so many stories of patients coming in talking about buying cannabis on the street that's unregulated, that is laced with fentanyl and other things. And so when you continue to make these type of restrictions against these type of businesses, it makes it hard for us to serve our community. I'm also here because I keep hearing this thing about a drug. I wish I brought my son Aiden. He's now 11. He is a cancer survivor. I still give him cannabis on a medical level. I keep hearing this thing about drugs. Caffeine is a drug. Food can be a drug. Working out can be a drug. But we have to change our perspective on this plant. We've been fighting for it, still fighting for it. I just hope that none of you guys have to have be faced with the opportunity of somebody in your family who is diagnosed with cancer, who is trying to find safe access. Or I own 4 different businesses. This is the only business that I'm failing. And that says a lot for somebody like me. So I always say this, we are the cockroaches of the industry. And I say that because the restraints and everything that we have to go through is just unethical. I would like to see equality in our industry. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Charles Ramirez will be our final speaker. Is Charles here? I don't see any movement. Mayor, I have no more speakers on this agenda item.
Okay, thank you. City Manager?
What I'd like to do, Kevin, if you could come up, I think we started with a great PowerPoint. Kevin outlined the questions. I want to circle back to the questions and kind of see if I can say them in English. And Kevin, you tell me if I'm translating correctly. Our first question is around sensitive uses. Can we get the PowerPoint back up, if that's possible? And the difference is that staff has a list of sensitive use buffers, and the Planning and Design Commission has 3 additional types of buffers. Staff is recommending not to include those 3 because we feel that the buffers themselves that are there will sufficiently capture the concerns expressed by the Planning Commission. So the question is, which list? And then within that notion, staff is recommending a hard buffer, 600 feet, and that is that. I think you have heard from community, we'd like to maintain a conditional use opportunity in order to provide flexibility within the buffers. So that is decision, that is like question number 1. Which list, and is the buffer hard? Or will we continue to have a conditional use process there? So that's question number 1. I translated correctly. Question number 2 is around permit review. Once you get to permit review on certain types of permits, so dispensary, consumption, cultivation, testing, staff is proposing, let's take away the conditional use process where we can to make it easier, to eliminate barriers for participation in this industry. Now, if council on question number 1 decides there should still be a conditional use process for those who want it, who fail that administrative burden, that's an option. But we would love to be able to take this to an administrative process, with the exception of staff recommendation is that for a consumption lounge, we continue to always have a conditional use process because it is still so new. That's that distinction from an established type of business to something that is still new and unique to this industry. So that's question number 2. Question number 3 is, if you have an existing dispensary within a sensitive use buffer and you would like to add a consumption lounge to it, can we allow a conditional use permit for that existing business? And I would posit that we should, and I'm just going to say that. These businesses have invested a lot, they have endured a lot, and as Kevin has repeatedly told us, we studied this in order to understand what are the effects of these types of businesses in our communities, and they have, by and large, 99% been very positive in our communities. So what I'd like to do, Kevin, if we could, is address question by question so that we don't get lost in the comments and we can have feedback. So if you can go back to question number 1 so that it's on the screen, and if you have questions about exactly what we're asking, please let us know so we know that you're giving the feedback appropriately. So this question is, which list? Can you show us our 2 lists, Kevin?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So this is the, go back one.
Sorry.
This is the staff list. And you can see that when we add on the other 3, so skip 2, there are a whole lot more places where things can't go. So the question is, feedback on staff list or Planning and Design Commission list? That's question number 1.
Okay. Do we have the assignment, council?
Yes.
Maple, please begin.
Thank you, Mayor. So I know you want me to go one by one, but I had.
If you have them all, go for it, because, yes.
Okay. So I think I have them all, but you can tell me if I don't. Okay. So I want to start by recognizing first the important role that Sacramento's legal cannabis industry plays in our economy and in our community. These are businesses that choose to operate above board, within the law, and with strong regulatory oversight, both locally and at the state level. They provide thousands of jobs, contribute more than $2 billion with a B in economic output annually, and generate tens of millions of dollars in local tax revenue. Critically, 40% of that tax revenue goes directly into the Sacramento Children's Fund, which supports youth programs, violence prevention, and services that we all agree are essential. If we want to expand those opportunities for our young people, it requires a thriving legal cannabis industry. That is, for me, the foundation of where I start. That's why I believe our policy direction today should focus on reducing barriers and aligning with state law as much as possible in order for these businesses to be successful. First, I don't support adding any additional sensitive uses to the buffer zones. We already have extensive protections in place, and when you layer those on, in addition, it makes it even more difficult for these businesses to open up, to find places to go, and as you've seen today, it makes it very confusing for those who are already existing. And you saw the map. The map is colored up. When you add more things on there, it's really hard to imagine where you can even go. And so to me, that's not supporting an industry that's already contributed so much to our city. And as you've heard, it's not just money. You have businesses that are contributing to their communities. They're helping walk kids to school. They're providing security, all kinds of things. And so for me, I actually think that we should go further and we should align with state law. State law says schools and youth centers. But we go above and beyond in the city of Sacramento. I don't know if my colleagues would agree with me on that, but that's my personal belief. Second, I believe that we should streamline our permitting process. We know that conditional use permits have created a lot of bureaucracy, high costs, and long delays. You've heard stories of that today. I saw it firsthand when I worked in the industry. It can take sometimes months, if not years, to actually get a conditional use permit, and it's really unclear always what you're getting out of it, right? Especially as we've seen, we've done our own nexus studies and seen that we're not seeing a negative impact as it relates to these businesses. We're not seeing increased crime, we're not seeing lower property values. And so I support an administrative permit system with clear standards and strong public notice that will give us predictability and fairness and efficiency, while also ensuring accountability, because we know that's important to the public. But also, I heard this from some of the businesses today. We know that we have some legacy or existing operators that are already within some of these zones. And when I think about I know this is the next item, but when I think about the cannabis consumption lounge pilot, I think we have to be intentional about that. And so I do support the conditional use permit process for that specifically, because as you've heard, that there are businesses that might already be within a buffer zone, but they still want the opportunity to make their case, to say, hey, we think we should be here. So I think we should allow longstanding trusted businesses like a therapeutic alternative and others that have been here today to participate in that pilot program. And just one step further, I know that she's passed out some information on this about allowing like a tea garden in the back area that's only for the consumption of edibles, so you wouldn't be smelling smoke or anything like that. I am actually very interested in exploring what that could look like at the city level, what rules we would need to change in order to make that happen, or if we can do that through a conditional use permit process. I think that that's consistent with our goals, and as shown, these businesses have been here for many, many, many years. I think they've already shown what they can do. And so I think we have an opportunity to show that we not only welcome but value the cannabis industry, that they're our partner in economic development and community investment. And so I want to give them the tools to succeed, and in turn, hopefully strengthen the programs and services that we're providing here at the city. So thank you, and any questions that I missed?
I have a question. Did we cover the hard on the, did I miss that? Okay, so the question is, staff recommendation on the list, although you'd go farther and diminish the list just to schools and youth. And is it a hard buffer, or would you like to continue to allow a CUP for those where the admin permit is a no?
I would like to continue a CUP.
Okay.
Yes, so allowing flexibility wherever possible, that is my stance. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Guerra.
Thank you, Mayor. This probably displeases the interim city manager and the staff, but let me just first start off by saying that approaching this on like, hey, do you like 1, 2, or 3, 1A, 1B, or 1C, I think flies in the face of what this policy has and always has affected people. I want you to go to the staff recommendation map. Okay, so herein lies the constant problem that we've seen since the inception of this. That this, while it's a citywide policy, it really is a District 2 and a District 6 policy, because it has impacted those two primarily. Okay, let me just point it that way. And so I actually take a little a notion from members of the council that while you may have 1 or 2 opportunities in your district, in general, the impacts have been in those 2 areas. And so here's the dilemma, and I will lay out the dilemma, okay, here in this scenario. Because I want the council to make a decision, or that, you know, I've been in the minority many times on this, but I want the council to make a decision with respect to what you heard today from some of the youth folks over here, by Ms. Black, who mentioned her concerns about this, and what the dilemma of the council is. It would be easy to say, you know, okay, yes, let's put in what staff recommends, the staff sensitive uses, and that's easy to say. And in fact, a lot of my constituents would probably say, oh yeah, of course we want to do that. Well, in a myopic point of view, then what that does is it forces everything into District 2 and 6. Okay. The other challenge is also that without looking at flexibility, then we don't create other opportunities. Okay. Now, you couple that with the issue of stepping down the process to an administrative level where the public doesn't have an opportunity to engage, then you put District 2 and District 6 at that disadvantage. Okay, so it's difficult for District 2 and District 6, in my opinion. I don't want to speak for Councilmember Dickinson, but I would say it puts District 2 and District 6 in an unfair situation where they have to decide, do they want to have restrictions around youth, or do they want a public process? And so here is the dilemma. So if you go back to the other one, so if you go back to the PDC recommendation, you know, these are the sensitive uses that would otherwise be eligible. You could assume that those would be spots where you could have space to allocate new locations. So my concern here is really about how we balance this, because yes, we would one, I think lumping everything together, whether it's consumption lounges that are type 2 or type 1, and then also cultivation, manufacturing, and dispensaries. I think having this conversation so general is a problem in itself. And the fact that we're rushing in at this point is a problem in itself. And I will start with on the cultivation side. I think that if any, and because I think we have about 2.5 million square feet of cultivation that happens in District 6. Any one of us that have worked around this know that even as you get close to the locations, there's still an odor impact. There is. And so those impacts would affect the air, and that's even with good technology. And I've seen some of the best technology. We still have those impacts. By the way, I would urge the city staff to think about how it describes the study that we did, because it wasn't no impact. It wasn't that there were no impacts. I think Ms. Cargile described it that there were no unique impacts. Because I will say in District 6, we've had, unfortunately, a facility where we've had armed people with high-intense rifles, hog-tie folks, and rob the place. We've had a robbery on Fruit Ridge at another facility as well. So I think it's disingenuous for staff to come here and say specifically those terms. Now, the study did say, did we see any impacts post changing the market? The market issues were the point. When we created this inflated market, we saw that you had these fake property values. So that start off the bat, I think that we should change, I think staff needs to change its conversation. Okay, so where are we now? And what do we think we need to go to? Number one, on the zoning, I do think, and this is where I've had to think through and reevaluate, what's best for the city, what's best for our constituents. Yes, we should expand the zoning to C1 and C3 so that you don't get over-concentration on District 2 and District 6. And two, should we consider, and I'm willing to consider, looking at a reduction of sensitive uses, but it must be with the CUP process where the public has an opportunity. I think Ms. Cargile and she's been involved with this for a long time. And if she's an operator that has a lot of reputation, not only from this body, but community members and others. And I don't think, and in fact, I've seen letters from the local child care center that supports her facility. And so in that context, then yes, okay, the CU process should allow for a facility to move forward in that. And I think it's specific to that facility. Would I allow that for a cultivation facility? I don't think I would feel that comfortable, because I've seen the attempts to steal the product itself. So first of all, I guess I want to get to that point. Second, so there should be a pathway for adopting, I think, for folks, if they're in a non-conforming use. If we're going to try to expand so that you don't have two communities that are over-concentrated, then let's make sure that we have a CUP process that allows it.
Can I ask for clarification?
Yes.
So it sounds like, as Councilmember Maple said, she's in supportive of reducing the list even further to the state requirements, which would be schools, youth centers, and daycare. So you would be expanding the amount of places, and said not a hard buffer, but allowing an administrative permit, and if that is denied, then there's a CUP process.
No,
Okay,
I think starting at the administrative process is a non-starter. I think.
Okay, so you have no administrative process
No,
at all?
at all.
Everything is a CUP?
It has to go through
Okay.
CUP. And I agree with Mr. Allison. If the CUP process is expensive for any business, whether you're a cannabis, we need to be reevaluating much more how our CUP process works. But this is, so, the point comes down to is that we have to create a pathway I do think we have to create a pathway for legacy operators. I also want to put out another condition here. In some of the scenarios, and I had, very long conversations with community members about dispensaries, and they said, Eric, I'm not a big fan of it. It's not my cup of tea, per se. No pun intended. But if someone wants to, purchase something and take it with them, fine by me. I could get to go to the liquor store and do that. I think, and I'm glad that there's a recognition that for consumption lounges, that we would do a CUP process with that step forward, because that's not what they were sold when the dispensary was put in. The issue that I think we take hold that's also wasn't discussed in here is a call-up provision. So we cannot, I think, eliminate the call-up provision in any part of Title 17. And of all the permits, I've never actually had to forcibly use that, okay? But it has been a very good tool to encourage applicants to be deliberative, to be providers. So I think that's another piece that I think that if there's direction, not eliminating the CUP process. And then I think those are the three big points there, I think so. But so let me just say to my colleagues, okay, I've been very strict about and specific about how we make these buffer zones. But to make this work, I think we have to take into consideration what the impacts are for District 2 and District 6. So let me stop there.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Plunkeybaugh.
I'm going to agree with everything Councilmember Maple and Guerra just said, which may confuse you. I will summarize what I think I heard them say, and then I'm going to go somewhere completely different, just for fun. So what I heard was the list we're going to use, the state list, the least restrictive list. Let's provide ultimate flexibility to the CUP process, if at all possible, allowing staff approval for folks that are compliant with land use and code, if I heard that correctly. I'm looking for a nod or something.
Admin.
Yeah. Was on the second question, staff approval to waive through the CUP process.
It's admin unless it's a no, and then there's a CUP.
Right.
Yep.
And then
Okay.
lounges.
And lounges are CUP.
Yep. Okay. So I'm on the same page with all that. In my time on the Cannabis Commission, the Planning and Design Commission, we heard loud and clear about overconcentration in the Power Inn and District 2. And in fact, I tried to make up findings one day for overconcentration in District 2 because we were getting so many applications on Pell and other spots up there, and we still haven't created a standardized way for us to say when enough is too much. So my recommendation, my ask, is that we treat cannabis the same as we do alcohol and tobacco, that we start looking at this by census tract and establish some sort of a criteria for what the allowable density of use is in each of those census tracts, the same way that we do for alcohol and tobacco, and normalize this as much as possible. All of this, this just looks like the city has the measles. The rest of it is, I don't know if, redlining is the right comparison, but it's definitely some kind of, dumping in certain districts. And I think districts 2 and 6 have had, plenty of impacts and enough concentration. And if it's the desire of those communities to see less impacts in your neighborhoods, I think you should have that discretion. The rest of, the city, if they want to have, cannabis consumption, cannabis dispensaries, cannabis production, and we're not over monopolizing available industrial area, and we're not creating any other, incompatible, normal land use issues. That would be my preference. I know I've gotten on the soapbox before, and I'll get off it now. One just quick story, because he's not here to tell it. Doug Colville's a realtor. I served with him on the Planning Commission, has an office there at Alhambra and H. When Therapeutic Alternatives first came into that location, and he's told the story lots of times, I'm not talking out of turn here. When they came in, he, like every business owner, was very concerned about the new neighbors moving in next door. And they won him over, and he will tell you how big an improvement for that community has been, so much so that every single sensitive use in that area will write letters of support for that business and talk about how it is a great partner to have in that location. So while I share the concerns that some folks have, a lot of that, I think, is old prejudice that we need to move past, and the rest of it. And Eric, I share your concerns about smoking and what those kinds of uses can be, which is why I'm so glad to see Therapeutic coming forward with the edible-only consumption. I think we're going to need to provide a place somewhere in the city for actual smoking lounges, but it doesn't have to be all of them. Anyhow, those are my comments, and I'll stop talking.
Thank you, Councilmember Kaplan.
Thank you, Mayor. So on the buffer, quick question, because I had asked this, because there was confusion amongst my staff of a 600-foot buffer versus a 1,000-foot buffer. Can you explain, because it was our understanding there was a 1,000-foot buffer?
That was years ago. The code changed. Our current code has been for many years 600 feet. That is,
Okay.
that is current law today.
Okay, but it was at some point 1,000 feet.
Yeah, think very early regulation days.
Okay. On the sensitive uses, I am good with staff's recommendation, but I know my community, and my community would ask this, that schools should retain a 1,000-foot buffer. Truly, honestly, not a 600-foot buffer. Natomas is full of parks and schools, and that is something very much of, they're not opposed to dispensaries. It is just the near the schools that is something that is a little bit hard for them to swallow. So, because if you really understand what 600 feet is, that's not even 2 football fields. And that's really easy to get across. So I don't know if that's something anybody would consider of just for new moving forward. So I am of mind grandfathering in everybody that has a CUP. They've gone through the hard work, and especially those that have got the support of schools and other areas. I don't believe it should be a hard no, but it should always go through the CUP. If you were anywhere near a school, especially 1,000 feet within a school, I am supportive of existing dispensaries. I would almost like to see like a modified or streamlined CUP that are looking for cannabis lounges, because they've existed. And if they meet the building guidelines and the filtration guidelines for a lounge, why should they have to double and go through a CUP again, which is where I'm at? And whatever we need to do to change to allow the tea garden into a type 1, whatever that language needs to be, if you're drinking tea, that meets type 1 in my mind as a consumption. It is very different than vaping. And if people truly knew why a therapeutic alternative is so successful, they would be replicating it all around the city. Did I miss?
I want to say it back. We're good with the staff recommendation, except schools 1,000 feet, not hard, so that there can be a CUP. If there is an admin, a CUP for dispensaries. I mean, consumption lounges, sorry. Long day. I think we got it. Did I miss anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
Councilmember Dickinson, then Talamontes, then Guerra and Kaplan again, apparently.
Oh, no, I don't know what. Oh,
Now you're on.
I know what I'm doing.
Okay, you just finished.
I can take it off.
Well, I must admit, I find this challenging because it seems to me there's a needle we're trying to thread in many respects, and it's hard to figure out exactly how best to thread that needle. Obviously, the sale of cannabis is legal, and it's in our interest to ensure that as much of the sale of cannabis is legal as possible. So you don't want to make it too onerous for people to operate a legal business, especially when there is a significant ongoing and serious threat from the illegal sale of the product. That is certainly an interest that I think we all I think share. With respect to location and the associated issues, I share much of the sentiment of Councilman Mayor Pro Tem Guerra. And I have no doubt, based on the conversations I've had with those in the district I represent, that if there were a way to completely prohibit any further aspect of cannabis in that part of the city, that is what they would want. And it doesn't matter, I don't care whether you're talking about dispensaries or cultivation or any other aspect of the industry. They feel, and I think this is not a narrowly held view, but a broadly held view, that part of the city has taken more than its fair share of this use, and notwithstanding what the staff report concluded, or the third-party report concluded, it's still a very sensitive issue. It is extraordinarily sensitive to a host of people. So, with that context, I am a little intrigued by the idea of trying to align it with the way we approach alcohol sales. I'm not sure if that works, but it might be a way to have a gradient, so to speak, that would be more refined than simply the sensitive uses approach. I would be interested in an exploration of that analytically to see how it would compare to the methodology that has been applied by the city to this point, and now you're trying to adjust in a sensible way. So I would be interested in exploring that as an approach. I certainly agree with the idea of making more places opportune for businesses rather than fewer on the one hand, but that still works to the disadvantage of the areas of the parts of the city that are most heavily impacted. I mean, you can't say, well, we'll open up lots of other areas without opening up further parts of whether it's District 6 or District 2. So that's a hard one to come to terms with. With that caveat on your first item, I think I would, to the extent we go in that direction, I would support an absolute prohibition within the sensitive areas, and probably side with the staff's list and not expanded. But I want to stress that's very conditional. Very conditional as conditional can get. I also think, as does Councilmember Guerra, that wherever we're talking about an establishment or expansion of a business, it needs a conditional use permit. This is just too sensitive an issue, as I mentioned earlier, to take away the opportunity for public input. So that is something that I would apply under any circumstances. And then as to your third item, I will say I do not support lounges where there's smoking or vaping. Just as a matter of principle, just as and the council had this debate before I was here. It was decided on a 5-4 vote. I understand that, but my own view is, just as I don't support smoking in bars or restaurants or other businesses, I don't support smoking in lounges. So, a type 1. With a conditional use permit within the sensitive areas for established dispensaries. That's, again, I'm a little conditional on that one, but that's probably the way I would lean on that item.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Talamantes. Just direction we're looking for.
Yeah, Steph, can you go back to the option 3, the third question? I just got to read it again. Okay. So for number 1, I'll go with staff recommendation for area uses and to align with state law. I agree with Councilmember Kaplan on 1,000 feet for schools and parks for the brand new operators that we approved a few months ago. I think it was an additional 10. So for the new ones, agree with that. And then 2, I would really like a CUP process. I don't want it to start administratively. I want it to start with the CUP, with the public hearing, with people to be able to chime in, say yes or no. I recently had an incident where somebody wanted to sell alcohol and my entire neighborhood was against it. It went through administrative review, it got approved. It became a really big issue in my community. So because of that experience, I just would really like a CUP so that neighbors can have an opportunity to chime in and give their 2 cents, whether they support it or don't support it. And it gives the operators and neighborhood associations an opportunity to connect and have conversations and just start the relationship off well. And then number 3, the consumption lounges. I think I'm along the lines of what Councilmember Dickinson said. And then question for legal, probably legal unless you can answer it. There's different neighborhoods in Sacramento, like downtown is where people come over the weekends to have fun. You go out to the bars, you go out to the nighttime, you stay out, you go to Willie's Burgers, it's a place where people come for the concerts, and it's like an entertainment area compared to north of Thomas and south of Thomas where you have more residential. So as we're crafting this policy on consumption lounges and stores, can you create an ordinance where certain areas have less restrictions or more opportunities versus other neighborhoods where, people would say, no way, no thank you?
correct me if I'm wrong, OCM, I think that your next agenda item is the number, is there a number of lounges per? Yeah, so your next agenda item concerns Title V of City Code.
Yeah.
It includes a recommendation about the number of lounges that should be permitted per council district. So is
So
that?
that'll give us the flexibility to have a conversation about that, but like do geographic, not based on council district.
Yeah, so there is a little bit of a Venn diagram going on here with the zoning map. The
Okay,
zoning map
okay,
says.
I'll wait.
Yes, okay.
In that case, I will wait. I'm done.
Thank you. Again, we're just trying to finalize direction on this item. The next item we're voting on. Back to you, Councilman Guerra.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I forgot one item, and I appreciate Ms. Maisha Bonte's comments from Crystal Nuggs, and in all fairness, I recognize that many operators have gone through a significant amount of investment to go through the process. They get approved. They actually go through the process, get approved, and then if the council moves into the direction where there is a hard line and creates a non-conforming use because somebody moves in after the fact, I think we do have to be respectful to the first person and the first operator there. And while that may be happening right now in in the location in downtown, we see that happening in the industrial area because you see some warehouses and industrial commercial buildings being converted into churches. And so much more often because they're cheaper. And so that makes it unfair for those operators that actually already created their facility. And so what I want to make sure is as we move forward, we respect that if you did become approved through your conditional use permit and someone then moves in who doesn't require that they not be considered a non-conforming use. Don't know the legal way to do that, but it's buyer beware on the other on the second operator side. So.
Okay, thank you. In the interest of time, I'll attribute my comments to Councilmember Maple. So with that, this is just direction. We'll come back at a later date. Let's move on to item number 17. We'll try to wrap things up because I know we have a closed session and a 5 o'clock council meeting supposed to start 5 minutes ago. So,
thank you.
Item 17, please.
Item 17 is ordinance and resolution related to cannabis consumption lounges.
Wait for the PowerPoint.
Efren, is there a new presentation? It does not appear we have a presentation. Did you submit one?
Yeah, it's in the staff report.
But you didn't put it in Teams. Go ahead and get started. We'll try to find it for you.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. My name is Fiona Matson, and I am the Program Manager for the Office of Cannabis Management. I have a brief staff presentation as the council considers adopting an ordinance and resolution relating to the cannabis consumption lounges. The first slide would be direction and recommendation. On November 19, 2024, council adopted an ordinance for a 5-year cannabis social consumption pilot program. This pilot program creates 2 permit add-on types to allow storefront dispensaries to operate consumption lounges. Type 1 non-smoking consumption and Type 2 all consumption smoking and ingestibles. When the council adopted the ordinance for the pilot program, staff were directed to return with an ordinance addressing equitable geographic distribution of consumption lounges across council districts, as well as the ability for call-up review for business operating permits in relation to lounges. Staff conducted a survey of the 36 storefront dispensaries to gauge the interest and feasibility of opening and operating a consumption lounge across districts. 8 responses were received and all were interested in the Type 2 permit. With the current level of interest in the consumption lounge pilot program, staff is recommending no more than 5 storefront dispensary consumption lounges per district to fulfill the equitable geographic distribution direction provided by council. In light of the proposed limit of lounges for council districts and current level of interest, Staff also recommends adopting a first-in-line process, also known as the first-come, first-served, to authorize permitted storefront cannabis dispensaries to operate a lounge. Complete applications will be reviewed for approval in chronological order based on the application's timestamp. Economic and Planning Systems, Inc. is currently conducting a fee study to determine the appropriate lounge permit application fee. A fee resolution will be brought to council for consideration of adoption, consistent with the council-approved benefits for the Cannabis Opportunity Reinvestment and Equity, the CORE program. The fee will be waived for all CORE participants. Additionally, all cannabis consumption lounges will require a conditional use permit under the proposed Title 17 amendments. Under these proposed amendments, if passed by council, to operate a consumption lounge, a storefront dispensary will need to obtain a conditional use permit and then later a business operating permit when the business has made investments, including HVAC updates, needed to comply with the additional consumption lounge health and safety requirements. Due to the significant investment needed to meet the requirements to apply for a business operating permit, staff proposes that the council call-up review process occur during the conditional use permit process. The last slide is questions and discussion. That concludes my presentation, and I am available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Clerk, do we have a public comment on this item?
Yes, Vice Mayor, I have 8 speakers. First is Maisha Bahati, Jen Pratt, Deanna Garcia, Kimberly Garkile, Kevin McCarty, and please do line up in the middle aisle.
Hi again. I will keep this short. I am interested in a type 2, which is a smoke lounge. I am located in District 4, 2300 J Street. I feel like I'm in an amazing location for that type of lounge. I'm surrounded by bars, restaurants. I have already invested a significant amount of money into building out a lounge, close to $100,000. When we built out our dispensary, we decided to build out a lounge room because it made more sense. I anticipate spending another $150,000 to $200,000 more on just ventilation. So this is an opportunity that I am pretty locked into. Going through the CUP process for the dispensary, I can assure you that this is going to be an extremely challenging process. There are going to be a lot of oversight, whether it's the fire department, whether it's SAC PD, whether it's health. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to be involved in making sure that these smoke lounge in particular run correctly. So I just want to put that out there, that this is not something that is just going to be a business. I mean, this is going to be something that is going to require a lot of people involved. And I support it. I've been advocating for this since 2021 personally. Took the risk to build out a lounge. I didn't have to do that, but I did. So I appreciate everyone bringing it to its attention now. Thank you for everything. Thank you for talking to me over the past several months. I appreciate all the insight. Thank you.
Keep your comment. Jen Pratt.
Hi again, everybody. In the interest of saving everyone's time, you know how I feel for a therapeutic alternative. Just a few points. I heard concerns for the youth, and that's a big concern for us as well. Having consumption lounges gives a safe place for cannabis to be consumed off of the street. And so I just want to reiterate that. And tourism is an integral part of the liveliness that is coming forward with our city. I know that we've been named like the NBA team of the year for our Light the Beam and things like that, and it'd be great to see this city put forward in a positive light. And I think making sure that we make smart decisions tonight will help continue us in the right direction. And it was also noted in the beginning report from staff how much cannabis businesses contribute to the general fund and are in part responsible for allowing these different things that we're talking about tonight that have been voted on to help keep the city going forward in the right direction. Our tax measures and things that could come from this consumption lounge could help further children's programs, clean water, housing, all those things that are important to keep us going. So I just hope that you consider that before we go forward tonight, and I appreciate all your time. Have a good night.
Thank you. Deanna Garcia, then Kimberly Cargile.
Hi, my name's Deanna Garcia. My mother's 82 years old, Kathleen Badaway, and she's not able to make it here tonight, so I have this to read on her behalf. I am a patient at a therapeutic alternative. This is the dispensary where I go and take my friends and people of my age. She is 82 years old. We support the addition of the Healing Garden and look forward to getting CBD massages and having some CBG tea. This dispensary is a pillar of the community, providing education and the best of a variety of medical products in town. I appreciate how the staff at a therapeutic alternative is educated on a various of symptoms and can help find what is really needed to help treat her symptoms. The pain from the arthritis, the pain from just growing old and not being able to sleep well. With there being so many alcoholic shops, smoke shops, and liquor stores on every corner, I'm surprised that we are here giving this so much attention. But this is a different case. A therapeutic alternative and the other dispensaries that are licensed in the city of Sacramento follow rules, regulations, and support the city with multiple billions of dollars in taxes. My mother is asking if we can please allow the garden to go forward because she'd like to have her 83rd birthday there. And the 15 years of good neighbors that the therapeutic alternative has had really shows when you're visiting the McKinley Park playground, swimming pool, library, and coffee shops around town. They're always out picking up garbage and helping elderly people to cross the street, not only children. She wanted to mention that they help the elderly and not only the children cross the street. And she really enjoys therapeutic alternative and all the education they have to support there.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Kimberly Cargile, then Kevin McCarty, then Mindy Galloway, Zion Tatis. And feel free to line up in the aisle.
Hello again, my name is Kimberly Cargile. I'm the owner of a therapeutic alternative. Moreover, I'm a medical patients' rights advocate and an educator. I'm currently attending the University of Maryland School of Pharmacy for my master's degree in medical science and therapeutics. I tell you this so that you know that when I provide information to you, it is current and it is accurate. Some interesting facts about cannabis, since I've already, had talked about a therapeutic alternative enough, I hope to educate you in a few minutes. Just so you know, we all have an endocannabinoid system, we all have receptors within our body, and we all create cannabinoids. There are over 150 cannabinoids, plant cannabinoids, that have been discovered as of today, each providing different pharmacological effects. And there are 8 currently available on the market that we do carry at a therapeutic alternative, including THC, CBD, THCA, CBDA, CBGA, CBN, CBC, THCV. Only THC, CBN, and THCV are intoxicating. The other cannabinoids are not intoxicating. They do provide relief of pain, inflammation, anxiety, depression. So it's important to know that there are many, our patients are not just coming to us to get high. Actually, the number one question they have for us when they come to our store is, how do I use cannabis and not get high? That's what we're here for. So there are thousands of studies on the safety and efficacy of cannabis. The National Institute of Health provides over $2 million every year to study cannabinoids and cannabinoid medicines all around the world. So my ask is that you provide safe access to consumers by allowing all dispensaries in town to apply for on-site consumption and not limiting it to 5 per district. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I have 4 more speakers, Kevin McCarty, then Mindy Galloway.
Mayor and Council, thank you again. Kevin McCarty on behalf of Capital Compliance Management and Colas Dispensaries. First, we unequivocally and strongly support today's ordinance to establish a permitting system for on-site cannabis consumption. It's been a long time coming, I think about 3 years now, and it represents an important step in treating cannabis as a normal, regulated part of Sacramento's cultural and economic landscape. At the same time, this conversation should not stop at dispensary-attached lounges. I'm sure everyone in this room knows that people have been smoking cannabis at concerts and festivals for decades, but always in unsanctioned ways. That creates problems for both sides. People who want to enjoy cannabis do so without oversight, and people who don't like secondhand smoke are forced to put up with it. It would be far preferable to have a system of permitting and regulation for cannabis events and consumption venues, eventually, hopefully indoor and outdoor, where adults can legally and safely partake in designated areas, while other events remain family-friendly with clean air. Right now, the only venue available for cannabis events is Cal Expo, which is a giant facility, as you all know, unsuitable for 99% of the cultural events and gatherings that producers and promoters might want to organize. Other jurisdictions have already led the way with legal consumption venues and events. Sacramento need not reinvent the wheel, but embrace the cultural integration of cannabis alongside music, art, food, and festivals. So today we urge council not only to move forward with this program, but also to direct staff to begin drafting a framework for permitted cannabis consumption events, both in private indoor facilities and in appropriate outdoor venues. That is where the true potential of this policy lies, creating safe, controlled spaces that enhance our cultural life, support local business, and respect community preferences. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Mindy Galloway, then Zion Tatis, and then Shannon Pendarvis will be our final speaker.
Hello again, Mindy Galloway, owner of the Pocket Dispensary, and I am very excited to see the ordinance on the council's agenda. Thank you for all the hard work that has gone into this. It's been a very long time, and I am planning to open a lounge attached to the Pocket Dispensary and bring some community and some events and some education to the neighborhood. Reading the ordinance, I did see one thing that was concerning for me operationally. It did say that a manager had to be on site whenever there is a customer, anybody present in the lounge. And operationally, this does not allow for the manager to be able to take breaks or lunches if they have to sit there, or I would have to hire 2 managers to be on site at the same time. So I would consider maybe changing the language to that to include a verified trained member. I do understand the responsibility that is needed when it comes to consumption lounge, and that staff or employee member is thoroughly trained in order to handle any situation that comes. But that was my only concern when reading the ordinance. Other than that, I'm really excited to see this move forward and be able to plan to do something great in the Southland Park Pocket Greenhaven area.
Thank you. Zion, then Sharon.
Hi, my name is Zion Tadisa again, the owner of Shashamane Land, and I really support the cannabis consumption, but it shouldn't be just for cannabis dispensary. I have, like I said, 3 acres of land. I have an event license on it. I have CUP on it, not licensed yet. And I also have a health and wellness center, so people can actually come and medicate themselves. And also, I believe by allowing that, parents don't have to smoke around their kids in their house. So we will be able to have a place where we can go and smoke whatever, enjoy our smoke. But right now, most parents we have no choice but to smoke around the house. Even when we're outside, they see us smoking. And the school thing, that's where they learn. The kids, in fact, where they learn about cannabis is at school. So from from elementary all the way high school, that's where they get there. So you need to focus on that, how to really prevent them at school. So for me, like I said, I support it, but it should not be just for people who just have a cannabis dispensary. It should be for everybody who can qualify, because the qualification is the hardest thing. Going through the CUP, the planning department, and going through all of you, going through all this it's just cannabis is the most hardest, difficult business to get through, because it's so hard to get through the bureaucracy again. So I really want you guys to make a decision to have whoever qualifies should be able to get that consumption lounge. And I would like to have that on my land as well, which is secured. It will have a gate. It will be.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Our final speaker is Sharon Pendarvis.
Hello, committee. I would like to say I'm a member of a therapeutic alternative, a member of the Compassion Program. I'm an advocate for American Safe Access to people of low income that are on the Compassionate Program. I started smoking weed when I was 13 years old. We're going to get to this real quick since y'all talking about kids. Kids will do whatever they want to do when you're not around. And it's better to educate them on this subject than to deny them to know about it. Because I get on the bus and I'm watching kids smoke illegal e-cigarettes in my face and telling me, shut up, bitch. Mind your business. But you're smoking in a handicap area and somebody might have a lung problem. Okay, that's not even marijuana. Marijuana relieves asthma, whether you know it or not. Heart attacks, a lot of things. It helps me see every day. Now, my brother died at 13. When I was 13 years old, I started smoking weed and I started selling weed. Well, to avoid another kid from doing that, what's wrong with open consumption? We had it in 2000 with Prop 215, and it was no problems. Every industry in the world is getting robbed today, including basketball players at their own home. So you can't blame it on the product. It's the people. And community working together will solve the whole problem. It's not about where we have it. It's not about where we're doing it. People, every block I go to, it's a bar. I catch the bus everywhere. Every bus stop I go to, somebody's sitting out there smoking crystal meth or fentanyl. So what's the big issue about something that's legal when you can't even clean up what's illegal? You guys are
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Mayor, I have no more speakers on this agenda item.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Maple.
Okay, I'll be fast because I know we are way over time. So obviously we're not here debating whether or not to move forward with the cannabis consumption lounge pilot program. We already did that. So what we're talking about today is whether or not, what does geographic equity look like? So I'll say my stance, which is that I don't think that there should be caps. The reason why I believe that is because this is already limited by nature. You have it only restricted to the existing dispensaries in the city. And then on top of that, if you look at the survey, you'll find that a certain number of them are not able to do it because they don't have the space or the certain requirements, or they're not wanting to do it. And so this will be self-limiting on its own. And so for that, I don't feel like we need to add additional barriers, but I don't know if I'm in the majority or not, so I'm not going to make a motion, but I will be anxious to hear from my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Plucky-Baum.
I agree, and I'd like to second the note about manager on site. Again, insofar as we can treat this the same as alcohol and tobacco, I think it'll be a same and similar type process. And if we are going to limit dispensaries, consumption lounges by any geographic area, council districts is probably the wrong one. They change, sometimes more than once a decade. So zip codes, or maybe even better, census tracts, something less mutable.
Thank you, Councilmember Guerra.
Great, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I won't make a motion here. All to say is that I know where I am in the last vote was I was in the minority, but I would be willing to support a motion that only focused on Title I, on Type 1. And I do appreciate, Therapeutic Alternatives Cargile's efforts to provide something. I think fundamentally, as I mentioned before, I can't ignore the messages from Saving Our Legacy, African Americans for Smoking-Free Safe Places, the Lung Association, the Cancer Society, and also the 40 years of effort we've done to encourage people not to smoke anything, period. The dangers of smoking. So I'm not going to continue on that, relitigate that debate. All to say is that if the motion includes Type 2, I can't support it. But I do want to thank, Ms. Monty, for taking the time to think through and actually ask, what can we do to make a facility, as clean as possible, and what technology is out there, and we appreciate working, or at least trying to provide direction to other technologies that we currently use in other parts of our industries for air quality standards. And I hope that those new technologies are taken into consideration as well with that. But I'll just say that from the comment made by the speaker before, kids are basically following, examples by adults and also predatory marketing. So, we've reduced our smoking numbers significantly, and that's partly because of a lot of community work. So with that, depending on the motion, Mr. Mayor, I'd support only a Type 1. I think it's probably easier to walk slowly before you run. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Kaplan.
Thank you, Mayor. I am with the no cap for any type of dispensary or cannabis lounge, either type 1 or type 2. I do support amending the language so that it should be verified trained staff manager, not specifically calling out just a manager. But I'd also like to start the process that we've seen the success of the state fair. What does it look like in the city of Sacramento to have a cannabis event process? And I know that is coming. With the members, I'm open because we know that we're split on this. If we want to do like a type 1 vote and a type 2 vote, if that's easier, but I'm cool with the full no limit any type. But
Thank you, Councilmember Maple. Let's make a motion.
Can I just make, well, really quick point of clarification just for the city manager? So what we're voting on today is, we already voted on November 19th of 2024 to create the pilot program, which includes the types. So we're not voting on type 1 or type 2. That's already something we voted on. What we're voting on today is around the caps and the call-up provision. So just, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure I clarified that. And then with that, I'm happy to make a motion that we move this forward today and including no caps. So that's my motion on the table, that we move forward our pilot program and then we do not have a cap per district.
Second. I think we have a motion, a second. Councilmember Dickinson.
Well, let me start with a question. Then you're also including in that motion removing the call-up provision.
No, it's added. No.
The language puts the call provision at the beginning of the process and takes it away.
Pete, you want, or if you want to talk to the call-up provision?
Yeah, so my understanding is it would just, we were trying to add a couple of things to council's action from last November. One is adding those geographic caps per council's direction back then, and the other is the call-up provision. Those were the two items council asked us to bring back. So Councilmember Maple's motion would not add the language around the geographic caps, but it would add the language around the call-up provision.
Yeah, and I think that that's fair because I think that we should still have that process. Okay, thank you.
Oh, adding it. Well, that's okay. That then the staff report is confusing then to me because what it says is adopt an ordinance that relating to the call.
Fiona will clarify.
So I want to be clear here.
So it'll remove the call-up language from Title V, which is the business operating permit, because by the time you get to our business operating permit, you've dumped significant finances into establishing your business. So to remove it from Title V, and it'll be in Title 17. So it can be done at a conditional use permit.
You relocated it.
Correct.
Okay, I didn't pick that up when I was reading.
Thank you, City Manager.
Clarifying for the records, the slide presented that the call-up provision is now added to the conditional use process in Title 17 instead of after the fact in Title 5.
I got it. Okay. I did not track that in what I saw in the staff report. So thank you for clarifying that. I will say, under the circumstances, I do support the caps. Although I would happily revisit what the council did on type 2 in November last.
Thank you, Councilmember Guerra.
Thank you. Appreciate the clarification on the call-up provision, and I think we need to maintain a council call-up provision at the CUP conditional point. To clarify to Councilmember Mapper's point, if someone made a motion to only move forward with type 1, the process, then I would be supportive. But I understand. That's why I said mentioned early on that I was in the minority on that.
Thank you, Councilmember Pluckybaum.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm happy to support the motion and hoping the maker and the seconder would be willing to give direction to look at the manager language and see if we can expand that to include non-managers or the correct.
City Manager.
We can, it's in existing code, so we would have to bring something back to amend existing code.
And then the second was the zip code or the council district provision, if there was a better way to organize that. Don't want to solve it tonight, just direction.
Happy to provide that direction.
Great, thank you.
Wasn't irrelevant with no cap?
The current language says 5 lounges per council district.
Yeah.
If there's another better way to achieve the same goal.
So if
Oh,
there's
no
no
cap.
cap, then it's irrelevant.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Sound like Gen Z right now.
Yes. No cap. Make it a 6-7.
I had to say it, I'm sorry.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to Google that.
Okay. Thank you. With that, we have a motion, a second, to adopt the staff recommendation outlined with the exception of no cap per council district. Okay? No cap.
So, yeah, call the
Questions?
roll on this.
Do we have questions, though?
No, I think you need to call the roll.
I do that, but was there any questions on that motion? No. Okay, please call the roll.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaplan.
Aye.
Councilmember Dickinson.
No.
Vice Mayor Telementes.
No.
Councilmember Pluckybaum.
Aye.
Councilmember Maple.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra.
No.
Councilmember Jennings.
Aye.
Councilmember Vang.
No.
And Mayor McCarty.
Aye.
That motion passes. Pardon me, 6 ayes, 4 noes.
Five.
5 ayes, math is bad.
Yes.
Noes being Councilmember Dickinson, Talamantes, Guerra, and Vang.
Thank you. Okay.
So in the interest of time, I believe we can skip council comments, ideas, and questions.
Yes.
I have no public comment for matters not on the agenda. We are going to take, adjourn this meeting and then convene a brief special meeting for the purpose of a closed session. We have a quorum of council members in chambers. There are 5 items on the closed session agenda. I have no speakers on any of the items on the closed session agenda. The items are as follows: Public Employment Government Code Section 54957B1, Title City Manager. Item 2 is Conference with Labor Negotiators, Government Codes 54957.6, Agency Designated Representatives, Mayor McCarty, PNP Chair, Councilmember Jennings, Pam Derby, Unrepresented Employee is City Manager. Item 3 is Conference with Legal Counsel, Existing Litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9B1, Penske Truck Leasing Company versus City of Sacramento et al., Sacramento County Superior Court Case Number 24WM000057. Item 4 is Conference with Labor Negotiators, Government Code Section 54957.6, Designated Representatives Shelley Banks Robinson, Aaron Donato, and Tim Davis, Employee Organizations or Sacramento City Exempt Employees Association, Sacramento Police Officers Association, International Union of Operating Engineers, Stationary Engineers, Local 39, Sacramento Area Firefighters, Local 522, Sacramento Sierra Building and Construction Trades Council, Plumbers and Pipe Fitters, Local 447, Auto Marine and Specialty Painters, Local 1176, Western Council of Engineers, International Association of Machinists, and Aerospace Workers, all unrepresented groups. Item 5 is Public Employee Appointment, Government Code Section 54957B1. Title is Director of SHRA. Vice Mayor, you may adjourn to closed session.
During 5:33.